Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here again. Momentarily, we're gonna get you up in speed with tonight programming. Just gonna go ahead and get you guys up on this brief history, on this brief hidden history about Liberia. Getting it set up right now, and then we can go from there and we'll enter the show. Okay. Support to Ray again. We're on here again tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me momentarily. We're gonna get right into it.
Name would be Liberia, the land of the free. For some, it was a dream of return, a chance to reconnect with ancestral roots and build a new black republic, far from the horrors of slavery. For others, it was a forced exile, a way to remove free black people from the United States rather than accept them as equals. Liberia's founding was a product of hope, fear, racism, and resistance, all colliding at a pivotal moment in history. Backed by white colonizationists, yet led by visionary black pioneers, Liberia's story is one of extraordinary ambition and deep contradiction. To understand Liberia is to understand one of the most controversial chapters in the black freedom struggle and the legacy it left behind, both in Africa and America. In New England, enslaved African Americans exchanged for military service. By the end of the war, they made up 1/5 of the Northern Continental Army. After American independence, the revolutionary ideals of liberty and equality began to take root. Many states that had enlisted enslaved soldiers either freed them at the outset or promised manumission at the end of their service. In 1807,
A Netto natural broth, the real homemade taste. Available at Whole Foods Market.
So the craziest thing happened to me today. I got a psychic reading. I know. So when I was presented with the opportunity,
the British took control of Sierra Leone, a colony on the west coast of Africa. Sierra Leone had already become a resettlement site for black loyalists, freed African Americans who had fought for the British during the Revolutionary War. But the black poor were reluctant. Many feared they were being deceived and sent back into slavery. Others were skeptical of settling in a region where slave traders were still active. To persuade them, the British government had to guarantee their freedom in writing and even threatened them with vagrancy laws. In 1787, the first group of settlers arrived in Sierra Leone. They established Granville Town on the western coast of Africa. But the colony faced immediate challenges. Disease, particularly malaria, and conflicts with indigenous tribes decimated the population. Despite these setbacks, Sierra Leone persisted. In 1791, the Sierra Leone Company took over the colony, aiming to ensure its survival and profitability. Around the same time, 1,190 black Americans arrived, forming the majority of the settlers, who established Freetown, the first permanent settlement. But tensions soon arose. The Sierra Leone Company, led by a board of directors in London, appointed a white governor and council, excluding black settlers from governance. The company also monopolized trade and imposed a land tax, contrary to the promises made to the settlers. In 1808, after years of instability and financial losses, the British government took direct control of Sierra Leone. Over the next 6 decades, the colony became a hub for recaptured Africans, over 150,000 individuals freed from slave ships by the Royal Navy's anti-slave trade patrols. The idea of resettling free blacks from the New World to Africa gained traction in intellectual circles after the American Revolutionary War, and even more after the Haitian Revolution. Abolitionists and clergy of the Church of England began discussing how best to civilize Africa and India with European culture and Christianity. These discussions laid the groundwork for what would become the colonization movement. Even before the formal colonization movements gained traction, a growing class of free black intellectuals and businessmen were already laying the groundwork for a Back to Africa movement of their own. Among these early visionaries was Captain Paul Coffey, a shipowner, entrepreneur, and one of the wealthiest black Americans of his time. Inspired by the models of English merchants and colonial planters, Coffey dreamed of establishing a transatlantic trading empire that would connect the United States to Africa. Nearly a century before Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line, Coffey envisioned a mercantile network that would empower black communities on both sides of the Atlantic. He believed that a thriving black-led economy in Africa could provide a homeland for African Americans while uplifting the continent. In 1811, Coffey founded the Friendly Society of Sierra Leone, a cooperative organization aimed at encouraging black settlers and indigenous Africans to cultivate the land and trade their produce. He made 2 trips to Sierra Leone in 1811 and 1812, laying the groundwork for his ambitious plans. Upon his return to the United States, Coffey traveled to Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York to promote the formation of the African Institution, a black-led organization modeled after the British Committee for the Relief of the Black Poor. The African Institution had self-contained branches in each city and was tasked with coordinating a black-directed emigration movement. On December 10, 1815, Coffey made history, using his own funds. He transported 38 African Americans from the United States to Sierra Leone. When they arrived on February 3, 1816, these passengers became the first African Americans to willingly return to Africa through a black-led initiative. At first, Coffey's vision garnered support from prominent black leaders like Richard Allen, founder of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and Daniel Coker, a minister and abolitionist. They shared his dream of a wholesale African-American return to the continent. However, their support was conditional. They distrusted the American Colonization Society, ACS, which they saw as a tool to remove free blacks from the United States and strengthen the institution of slavery. In 1817, a meeting was held at Richard Allen's Bethel AME Church to discuss Coffey's colonization program and the work of the African Institution. The attendees, free black leaders and community members, unanimously opposed the idea of colonization. Many argued, America is more our country than it is the whites. We have enriched it with our blood and tears.
How strong are permanent teeth from Nuvia Dental Implant Center?
If somebody can break this set of teeth, they will get $500 cash.
No go.
How strong are dental implants?
For many black Americans, the United States was their home, and they refused to abandon the enslaved population, still suffering under the yoke of slavery. When Paul Coffey died on September 7, 1817, his dream of a black trading empire died with him, but his efforts laid the groundwork for future discussions about black immigration and self-determination. By 1816, the black population in the United States had grown to 1.5 million and were considered a growing race problem. Over 200,000 blacks had been freed only to exchange servitude for an existence as outcasts, living with degradation and discrimination. A policy trending towards segregation, already established in Indian affairs, quickly began to develop, along with negative attitudes toward race mixing. In the early 19th century, the United States was a nation grappling with its identity. The Haitian Revolution of 1791 to 1804, which resulted in the first Black Republic in the Western Hemisphere, sent shockwaves through the American South. Fearing that news of Haiti's victory would inspire slave rebellions, Southern planters and politicians worked hard to suppress information about the revolution. Yet, the specter of Haiti loomed large, intensifying congressional debates over slavery and the future of free blacks in America. At the same time, the young nation was expanding westward. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803, after Napoleon's disastrous Haiti campaign, doubled the size of the United States and fueled the ideology of manifest destiny, the belief that Americans had a divine right to settle the entire continent. But this expansion also reignited the debate over whether new states would be admitted as slave or free, a conflict that would eventually lead to the Civil War. The idea of colonization gained traction among both abolitionists and pro-slavery advocates. For abolitionists like Reverend Robert Findley of New Jersey, colonization offered a way to uplift free blacks by providing them with opportunities in Africa. Findley, who was inspired by Captain Paul Coffey's voyages, saw colonization as a chance to spread Christianity and civilization to Africa while improving the lives of free blacks. For pro-slavery advocates, colonization was a way to remove free blacks from the United States, thereby reducing the risk of slave rebellions. The memory of Haiti, as well as uprisings, led by figures like Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, and John Brown, haunted Southern slaveholders. Founded in 1816, the ACS sought to replicate Sierra Leone's model by establishing a colony for free Black Americans in Africa. For some supporters, this was framed as a humanitarian mission, offering free blacks a chance to build a new life away from the racial oppression of the United States. For others, however, it was a calculated effort to remove free blacks from the country altogether, thereby reinforcing the institution of slavery. Many white Americans at the time believed that a growing free black population would threaten the stability of slavery. They feared that free blacks would inspire enslaved people to resist or rebel, making it harder to control the enslaved population. To prevent this, they advocated for the removal of free blacks from the United States, promoting the idea of returning them to Africa as a solution. In this way, the colonization movement was not just about creating opportunities for free blacks. It was also about protecting and perpetuating slavery. On February 6, 1820, the ship Elizabeth, nicknamed the Mayflower of Liberia, set sail from New York for the coast of West Africa. On board were 86 free black immigrants and 3 agents from the American Colonization Society. Their mission was to find a suitable location for a settlement where free Black Americans could build a new life. When the settlers arrived on the African coast, they drew up a compact, much like the Mayflower Compact of 1620, pledging themselves to the service of God and proposing a civil government under their own leadership. However, the ACS and the federal government, which funded the expedition, had different plans. They did not believe that free blacks were ready for self-government, and for nearly 3 decades, ACS agents would control the colony's civil affairs. The ACS initially established its first colony at Sherbro Island, but yellow fever quickly claimed the lives of more than a quarter of the settlers. After the arrival of additional immigrants from Baltimore, the survivors relocated to Cape Mesurado, a 36-mile-long strip of coastal land near present-day Monrovia. From the outset, the colony faced immense challenges. Indigenous tribes, viewing the settlers as competitors for trade and resources, launched repeated attacks. By 1835, 5 additional colonies had been established by American state colonization societies and the U.S. government. In 1838, these colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Liberia, with Monrovia as its capital. Over the next 6 decades, more than 15,000 black immigrants from America would settle in Liberia. Of the 2,887 immigrants who arrived between 1832 and 1842, the settlers, many of whom were unprepared for the harsh tropical conditions, struggled to adapt. They relied on funds from former slaveholders, state legislatures, and the ACS for survival. To improve the settlers' chances, the ACS adjusted its voyages to avoid the deadly summer rains. They also discovered that Southerners, who had some immunity to milder forms of malaria, fared slightly better than Northerners. Still, the colony's survival depended on its ability to become self-sufficient. The US government provided limited support, about $9,000 annually, for arms, fortifications, and medical services.
This is one of my favorite little gifts to give. It looks so simple and elegant, and I love how it has that vintage look. You can just slide one between pages of your favorite novel to use as a bookmark, and it hugs so closely to pages thanks to the magnets. This way, you don't have to worry about losing your bookmark because it simply can't fall out. It can also double as a pen holder for when you want to just jot things down, or you can use it as a versatile cable organizer. To make a personal and thoughtful gift, you can customize it with an initial or a cute.
However, it refused to recognize Liberia as an official American colony, creating international challenges. European traders from Sierra Leone ignored Liberian land claims, refused to pay customs fees, and dismissed the colony's sovereignty. In 1845, Liberia's Colonial Council passed resolutions requesting independence from the ACS. A national referendum followed, with most Liberians voting in favor of independence. On July 26, 1847, representatives of the Liberian people proclaimed the Republic of Liberia, the first independent black republic in Africa. Liberia's constitution provided for an elected president, vice president, House of Representatives, and Senate. It explicitly barred white men from owning land or working independently, except as missionaries or traders, to safeguard Liberia's political and economic independence. Despite its challenges, Liberia became a beacon of hope for many free blacks seeking opportunity and self-determination. Settlers built thriving communities, excelling in trade, agriculture, and professions like law, medicine, and education. By the mid-19th century, Liberia had established itself as a hub of commerce and enterprise. The colony's merchant fleet grew rapidly, with 58 Liberian-owned vessels by 1848 and 139 by 1871. Americo-Liberian traders, often referred to as merchant princes, dominated coastal trade, exchanging goods like rum, tobacco, and cloth for valuable African commodities such as palm oil, ivory, and rice. These traders became symbols of Liberia's economic potential and the aspirations of its settlers. Yet this prosperity was not without its contradictions. While Liberia's success demonstrated the capabilities of free blacks, it also highlighted the limitations imposed by systemic racism and the lack of support from the United States. Despite the vision of figures like Paul Coffey, who had dreamed of robust economic ties between free black communities in America and Liberia, no official trading relationships materialized. The absence of a strong black economic class in the United States, coupled with entrenched racial barriers, made it nearly impossible to foster the kind of transatlantic partnership Coffey had envisioned. Instead, Liberia's growth remained largely self-reliant, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of its settlers, even as they navigated the challenges of building a new society in the face of isolation and limited resources. Even though the settlers started to see much progress, their relationship with the indigenous population remained fraught. The Americo-Liberians, many of whom had been born free or emancipated, viewed themselves as culturally superior to the indigenous tribes. They reproduced the social hierarchies of the American South, with mulattoes often occupying the upper echelons of society, and recaptured Africans, those rescued from slave ships, at the bottom. The Americo-Liberian settlers, who were descendants of freed slaves from the United States and the Caribbean, often viewed themselves as culturally and socially superior to the indigenous African population. This sense of superiority was further complicated by the colorism that emerged within the settler community, where lighter-skinned mulattoes, many of whom were of mixed African and European ancestry, held disproportionate power and influence. Blyden was one of the most vocal critics of this internal division. He saw the mulatto elite as a barrier to the progress of Liberia and the broader African race. Blyden believed that the mulattoes, who were often better educated and wealthier due to their connections with white Americans, were more interested in maintaining their own power than in uplifting the black race or integrating with the indigenous population. This division was institutionalized in Liberian politics, with political parties forming along racial lines, the Whigs, dominated by pure blacks, and the Republicans, dominated by mulattoes. While internal divisions plagued Liberia, the country also faced significant external pressures as European powers began to carve up the African continent during the scramble for Africa. Liberia's independence and sovereignty were constantly under threat from European imperial powers, particularly Britain and France, who sought to expand their territories in West Africa. Liberia's claims to its hinterland were often disputed, and the country struggled to assert its jurisdiction over territories that were not effectively settled by Liberians. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, which formalized the rules for the partition of Africa among European powers, further complicated Liberia's position. The conference established the principle of effective occupation, which meant that European powers would only recognize territorial claims if they were backed by actual control and settlement. Liberia, with its limited resources and internal divisions, was ill-equipped to meet this standard, and its claims to vast territories in the interior were increasingly ignored by European powers. Liberia's territorial boundaries were once far more expansive than they are today. At its height, the colony claimed vast stretches of land along the West African coast, including areas rich in resources like palm oil and rubber. However, during the scramble for Africa, European powers like Britain and France aggressively expanded their colonial holdings, often at Liberia's expense. To the northwest, Britain annexed the Galinas territory and parts of the Mano River region, which are now part of modern-day Sierra Leone. To the east and north, France claimed the Kavala River region, now part of Ivory Coast, and the Nunes River region, now part of Guinea. European powers justified these encroachments by arguing that Liberia lacked effective control over these territories, a critique rooted in both geopolitical ambition and racial prejudice. By the early 20th century, Liberia's borders had been significantly reduced, leaving the nation surrounded by British and French colonies. This territorial loss was not just a blow to Liberia's geographic size, but also a stark reminder of its precarious position as one of the few independent nations in a continent increasingly dominated by European empires. The country's inability to effectively occupy and administer its hinterland left it vulnerable to European encroachment. Liberia's lack of military and economic power made it difficult to resist these incursions. The republic's survival depended on its ability to navigate the complex politics of European imperialism while maintaining its independence. Externally, Liberia faced the relentless pressures of European imperialism as the scramble for Africa threatened to engulf the small republic. Yet, against all odds, Liberia joined Ethiopia as one of only 2 African nations to maintain its independence during this era of colonial expansion. This remarkable achievement underscored the resilience and determination of Black people to carve out a space of their own in a world dominated by colonial powers. Thanks for watching. If you found this story insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue uncovering the hidden truths of history. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
Where, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here on the Nightly Exchange. Your brother here, Toure. I'm gonna host here tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Momentarily, we're gonna get the rest of the guys, but for now, I'm gonna hold it down until we can get it. So I'll just give you a little bit of a, some of the hidden history of Liberia. As you all may be aware, that Liberia was just in a very precarious kind of situation. The people that founded Liberia, they had absolutely no good intention. When I say good intention, they were not sort of like ambitious enough. And you can tell from Liberia Lance Mark, right? And you can tell from, Liberia could have literally controlled a lot of those territories, but because the body had a lot of intentions, man. A lot of encroachment happened on Liberia, some of Liberia now. Were claimed by Guinea, Sierra Leone, Togo, Ivory Coast, Togo, so we just, but that's just another conversation for another day. But good evening to you guys. I'm here, Ture. I'm going to be your host tonight until the rest of the team can come in here. We're going to be talking so many things today, my people. So many things that we're really going to be talking about. It's everything that happened in Liberia, the usual talking points, and the usual, opinion leaders, men and talking again, and men and women and talking again. So we're going to bring all these things to you guys momentarily. But yeah, so I mean, you can keep your comments coming. You can keep your liking, but please go ahead, share. We really appreciate your share, so that we can get other people engaged in the mix here. CMC political leader Musa Hassan Bility is saying that Americas again. It seemed like Mr. Bility Umba traveling to America. It's just like traveling from wherever to Bonka, to Nima County. 2 weeks the man here, another week he's in abroad, then to check back in the mayor again. So there are so many things happening. CMC is moving fast, man. Those guys are making things lazy out there. But speaking of CMC, there was this I don't know, you may call it exercise that were carried on by a media institution in Liberia, where they were visiting all the political headquarters. Man, that's out of control. I mean, it's amazing how we really get down in our country. Very interesting country. Things happen there, man. We create our own story there. Yeah. So there was this exercise being done by a media, entity. Visitation were happening at all these various political institutions to see exactly who's active and who's inactive. And that exercise has been carrying on today. And I just wanted to share that was ongoing. But let's talk about some of the headlines. I'm gonna just put it out before the guys can get on, so we can really discuss them in depth. But something I really want to talk about, to be quite honest with you guys, is the hold on, wait, let me get this thing situated real quick. I think a lot of people have gone mute on a little bit, but I think it's almost disturbing, knowing exactly how that could really, impact, our country. When you live in a country where you don't have much of something, you want to prioritize the little you have. But if you actually dismissing people like that, then over there now, then we got a problem. As you all may be aware, the dismissal of Dr. Dogbe Chris Nya is something that is really, taking on the bulk of the discussion right now in the country. Everybody's saying their own. Was it justified? Was his firing justified? Should the government give explanation? Should the government? I mean, look, at the end of the day, some firings actually deserve explanation, right? You really need to tell us why this person was fired. and the reason behind the firing should be sort of maybe it was some kind of ethical violation, or just violation of duty or anything of sort, right? But like I said, man, we don't have that many doctors, especially of men of a caliber, to just get fired like that, right? Now it's going to interest a lot of people now who's going to replace him and what kind of value and qualification that person going to bring to the table, because public health is such a national safety concern. So we just want to know, because a man of that kind of experience, you just don't want to fire a person like that without giving any sort of tangible or at least satisfactory explanation as to why the person was dismissed. But the report here, they say, well, on Wednesday, October 15, the executive mansion obviously announced President Joseph Numa Boakai dismissal of Dr. Dogby Chris-Yan as Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, NPHIL, following a recommendation from the Institute's Board of Directors. My people, the kind of thing now we got to be very, very careful now, right? Some of the board members, when they see that the money not coming at the way it should be coming, they get conflicted with their head sometimes too. You know what I mean? I hope the president really did in fact do due diligence before the thing coming out, right? But let me go further. In its resolution dated September 12, 2025, the board cited multiple administrative and management violations allegedly committed by Dr. Yan since he took office in August 2024. The resolution accused the dismissal Director General of poor coordination with the Ministry of Health, lack of collaboration with the government and partners institutions, failure to involve the board in key decisions, and disregard for the statutory authority of the board. People, everything I'm hearing in this one here, almost like somebody was just hurt. But let's continue. Other allegations include persistent foreign travels without the board's knowledge, submission of communication to the president and the national legislature without the board approval, and conducting NPHIL affairs through the media without proper authorization. The board further noted that Dr. Yan failed to properly consult the board on submission of the budget, and ignore earlier warnings following his suspension in February 2025 for similar administrative concerns. Based on these issues, the board, through the powers granted by the NPHIL Act of 2016, voted overwhelmingly to recommend Dr. Yan's removal. 7 of the 10 board members present supported the decision, while 2 abstained and one voted against it. The board resolution cited section 4.1 CI of the Act discretion, describing Dr. Yan as grossly inefficient and engaged in act undesirable to public interest and contrary to principle of good governance. The resolution also named Dr. Sia Wata Kamono as interim director general to coordinate NPHIL's operation in collaboration with the board, the Ministry of Health, development partners, until new director general is appointed. In his response to President to the president dated September 17, 2025, that Netanyahu strongly rejected all 11 allegations contained in the board's resolution with evidence provided and attached all of his points. He described the accusation as unconstitutional, vague, and politically motivated, saying they lack any credible evidence. Dr. Nyan said the leadership of the NPHRL have been guided by transparency and respect for the law, emphasizing that all major decisions were reported to the board in written. He denied excluding the board from key decisions and accused the board of violating the NPHRL Act by holding secret meetings without his participation, despite his statutory role as the board secretary. He further dismissed claims that he traveled abroad without authorization, explaining that all official trips were approved, work-related, and often sponsored by international partners such as the Africa CDC and ECOWAS WHO. He said the board chair was always informed of his departure. Okay. On the issue of coordination with the Ministry of Health, Dr. Nyan said he maintained regular communications and cooperation with the Ministry of Health, and that it was the ministry, not the NPHRL, that created a parallel structure duplicating NPHRL functions. The dismissed Director General also refuted claims of poor intelligence collaborations, listing series of joint projects NPHRL has undertaken, including a lead pain regulation initiative with the Environmental Protection Agency, doctorate program of the University of Liberia, and Mpox vaccination campaign with the Ministry of Health. He also denied mishandling media relations, explaining that the NPHRL's Division of Communication and Government Relation was approved by the board itself and is responsible for public health communication and awareness. Dr. Nyan accused the board of engaging in administrative intimidation and attempting to undermine his leadership through unhealthy political theatrics. He said their actions were aimed at tarnishing his reputation and frustrating progress made in strengthening Liberia's public health system. He reminded the president that under his leadership, NPHRL was recognized as a regional center of excellence by Africa CDC, a milestone for Liberia's public health capacity. Dr. Nyan concluded his letter by appealing to President Boakai to review the evidence he submitted, stating, "I only wished to serve my country with transparency, accountability, sincerity, and integrity. Without those qualities, systemic failure may occur, reflecting poorly on your administration." Meanwhile, the office of the president has not issued a public statement beyond confirming his removal, but the decision has drawn mixed reaction from health professionals and observers, with some calling for an independent review of the board allegations. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we at. All right. From what I just read, you know what I mean, it's only fair to say that there was some internal wrangling going on. It seemed like people didn't like each other, which is obviously sad to say, especially when you consider this government just started to rule, and people obviously having this kind of ill intention and ill feeling for each other. But if you read that, you don't get anything but just knowing that these were people that were just a little bit petty. But again, it is what it is. I think the president need to do what the president need to do. You have the bulls and people they will do their decisions, but you, the president, now you need to, look at it and say, you know what, nah, I don't think that's the route we're gonna take. But in other news, people they think happening like, bro. In other news, Bapolu County Senator, man. Senator Botu Kane, he came, swinging today. You know what I mean? My Oman King, Oman I played today. The Oman King swinging. I don't know what the Oman had. I don't know whether that baseball bat she had on him, but anything that she could let rip, she did. She said the president told us to fight corruption, but corruption is getting worse. Some officials of government have been investigated by the LACC and indicted by the court, but they are still in their position. No suspension, no dismissal. That's coming from Senator of Bapolu County. That's the county my mom actually comes from. Botu Kane, that's the senator position. That President Baka told all of us that corruption is going to be public enemy number one, probably paraphrasing that. But that's what the president said, that corruption is going to be, one of his, and the senator is saying that the president told us to fight, that he will be fighting corruption, but corruption is getting worse. That some government officials have been investigated by the LACC, and they have gone as far as being indicted by the court. But yesterday, some are still serving their position with no suspension, no dismissal. My people, like I was saying last night, on the platform, sometime in life, when you say something, be about it. Be about it. Don't just say things. Be about it. Be intentional. Approach it with every bit of intentionality, and give it that level of consideration. Because if you tell us that you're going to fight corruption, then obviously we should see you making decisions in that effects, right? We should have zero tolerance on corruption. Anybody need come around corruption, that person should be suspended or their own investigation, right? But that person be willing for it. That's how serious, that would be, right? Once you say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're not going to do, right? When somebody need come out on that kind of level, right? Even the president corrupt, but that corrupt, just suspend that president forever. You know what I mean? Suspend that person. Because, look, suspension is not guilt. It's not guilt, okay? You being suspended is not guilt. But you're just showing that you are so serious about this that even your knee come around, you're going to sit down here for maybe a week or two. Then after we get to the bottom line, then we'll get you back. Suspension will pay. Then that will give people a certain level of, people start to realize that, what? This is happening. This is happening. That the president is really, really intentional about this. That's what I'm saying. But when you see senators that coming out and saying these kind of things, I don't know if a statement is anything that have to do with politically motivated or anything like that. But I truly, truly believe that she's genuine in her assertion. So the president needs to really take a cue on that, right? Because it's absolutely important when you see these things happening. And like I was saying yesterday, Corruption and Corrupts Act, right? There should be zero tolerance apply to them, right? That will give the serious nature of the president, and then the president action to swiftly suspend or dismiss individual, that have, that that their name have come up in this kind of investigation and stuff like that, it will send a reverberating kind of wave throughout the government that, you know what, they're not playing. That whether you corrupted or you didn't corrupt, when your Nika and run out things, you're going home. Right? You know, suspension will pay. You're going home until we can get all of the facts right. That will send a message out there. That's what I'm saying. You know, because when you hear blind people dancing sometimes, you all need to touch each other. The only way you know, the blind man will know that they're dancing with somebody, you all need to touch each other, you know. Touch the man small, the man, oh, at least I'm not dancing alone here, you know. So that Senator Boto Kane of Bapulu County, that President that President Joseph Numa Boakai, the president told us to fight corruption, but corruption is getting worse. That the president told them, the Senate, you know, that we should fight corruption. By extension, the president told the nation that we should fight corruption. Because that's something that the president campaigned on, right? That left for corruption. But she's saying now that corruption is getting worse. That some government official have been tapped, have been investigated, and some are being indicted by the court. But individuals are still working, you know. I think next time my man just drops on name for, you know what I mean? Just drops on names for us. That way, that will be able to push it. Because corruption should have absolutely no role to play in government. Because what it does, it really, really takes away the sanity of government. You know, it corrupt money, you know, it just derail everything that government trying to do in terms of resource mobilization, you know, and then you see government not able to take care of some basic needs of its citizens because money allotted to doing certain things, those money are not being used for the purpose or for the purposes, and that in turn keep government handicapped. So that's Senator Boto Kane there. But the other one here, the one that good news for government. You know, the other one coming from Riverses Senator Wellington G. Smith, Riverses County. And he went on some praises today. You know, you see, we try to balance it. You know, when we take a shot at the government, then we try to find an equalizer. You know what I mean? Because everything can be negative now, right? We love Liberia. We want Liberia to prosper. That is our intention, right? If you're a Liberian and you don't have any sort of that does not come to your mind that this is our country, in as much we try to be critical on government, but we should also be objective in our criticism, right? We should be objective in our criticism. We should understand that, look, not everything is bad, right? And if we have a country that is as convoluted as Liberia is, we have a country that is absolutely, you know, hard, right? You have to take the good, the bad, the ugly at times. Excuse me. You have to take the good, the bad, the ugly, and try to, you know, draw, you know, you try to sift her in, you know, take the good, the bad, the ugly. Because when you thought it good, you thought it bad, then you thought it ugly. So now we now thought it bad. The bad was like Senator Boto Kane of Bapulu is saying that there's corruption. You know, that corruption is getting worse in government, or worse. Not mine, or worse. Now we have Senator Smith, Senator Wellington G. Smith of Riverses County, and he came out with this absolute elated how do you call it? Gratitude, maybe you can consider that way. Gratitude towards the president. And he basically said today that for the first time since the end of the civil war in Liberia, we the people of Riverside County, we are now able to travel throughout the county during the rainy season without getting stuck in the mud. That is an absolute message of appreciation. Shout out there to the president. Excuse me, guys. I need a coffee. Well, I don't even drink coffee. I say I need coffee. I drink tea. For the first time since the end of the Civil War in Liberia, we the people of Riverside County, we are now able to travel throughout our country without getting stuck in the mud. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a news for you right there. Since the Civil War ended, my people, that long time there. Since the Civil War ended, that's a long time. Right? Could have been 1990 after Charles Taylor, right? But he's saying since the Civil War ended, he was not specific whether it was 2003. That they're the people of Riverside County. They cannot travel now throughout their county without getting stuck in the mud. Now, context. He said rainy season. Let me put that there. Throughout during the rainy season without fear of getting stuck in the mud. That is absolutely a message, or at least something that this administration should be excited about, coming from a sitting senator. That's another good. Then we have that going. But look, at the end of the day, we will try to be as positive as we can be and try to be, and try to balance it out. It is not our intention to come here and criticize government every day. It is not our intention to come here and be objective. We try to be here as objective as we can be when everything is in line with everything that we were promised. All right. But if it's different, then obviously we need to say that too. But there where we are right now. Another headline today. The former President George Manneh Weah was actually captured today, was seen today at the at what is going to be now the CDC new headquarters. In Congo Town. The former president was there today with school of his party officials. They were touring the ground of the grounds of the new headquarters. That was a little bit quench, but you know what? Hey, it is what it is. At least the president was there today with people. We'll see how that's going to play out tomorrow. But tomorrow is it's considered a CDC groundbreaking day. It's a good thing, it is a good thing. It is a good thing. If a political party should learn to be responsible, a political party or political institution should be an exemplary, institution that obviously do the right thing. Because you have to understand, if you're not doing the right thing in opposition, there's no guarantee that you do the right thing in position. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, that's why, what you do on your off days is indicative of what you do on your day to work. We gotta keep it buck, When you're in opposition, your decisions, when you're in opposition, the way you move, when you're in opposition, how you approach things matters. When you're in opposition, what are some of the things that you need to do when you're in opposition? You have to stay within the confine of the discussion, right? Opposition, you have a tight thread to travel on. Very, very tight, right? Because your ability to capitalize depends wholly and surely on the government failure to keep some of its promises, right? That's why when you heard Senator Edwin Snow publicly wanting the government to fail, not even publicly wanting the government to fail, praying, to use his word, praying for the government to fail. So he, Edwin Snow, or whatever his affiliated political party is, then they can now come and capitalize on the failure of the government. And now, that bears the question. You are sitting senator of the Republic of Liberia. You are getting paid to do things right for your people. You are getting paid to represent your constituents, you, Edwin Snow. But yet, you are not only hoping, but you are praying spiritually. You are praying for God's spiritual and powerful intervention for your country to fail. So you can now use that as a political bargaining chip to use that to ascend to political power. I mean, how ridiculous can that be? How insane can a man who is being paid by taxpayer dollars, for a man who have enjoyed the leverage of being in Liberian politics since he was 17 years old, but yet, after 30 plus years actively engaging in Liberian politics at every bit of position that this guy, is there any position that this guy have now held, both in government and public sector? But yet, he's praying to God that the country should fail so he can have the ability to capitalize on those failures. Now, you tell me, why does that speak to? Let me welcome Amy. Amy, how you doing?
Good evening, Ture. Thank you for holding me down.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just talking about, sometimes we got to be objective, especially when you're in opposition. Because opposition, you are traveling on a very tiny rope. You know what I mean? Your time of criticism has to be timely.
Right.
Because that not everything you just jump on. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. You have your truth, then the public have their truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't want the public to turn on you because they will look in your life and say, well, what are you talking about? So if you look at the senator of River Cess coming out publicly saying that since the end of the Civil War, did the citizen of River Cess County, for the first time, they cannot travel across their county without fear during rainy season, I must add. During rainy season, without fear of being stuck in the mud, Amy.
That's big.
I mean, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, right? So that tells you that obviously the government is performing unprecedentedly, if that's even a word, but I think it is a word.
We'll make it a word.
No, it is a word. But look, I mean, it shows that the government is obviously doing something big and something unheard of. Because if you talk about since the war, and you are not specific to say whether it was 1997 when Chancellor took over or 2003 when Ellen took over, but he just says since the war, the citizens, the sons and daughters of Riverside County can now travel in 2025 through the land and breadth of their county without fear of getting stuck in the mud during rainy season. I mean, that's huge.
It is, right? And whenever when we trying to say these things, people try to make it sounds like, like you said, when you're opposition, you have your own truth and your own narrative, and the people have their own truth. Because the people who are not in the politics side of things, they're being very objective, right?
Right.
They're looking at it and saying it like it is. They are not playing politics around it.
No,
they know what they have been feeling, like going through over the years. Now, has this solved all of that problem? Absolutely not, right? But this was one of the biggest problems they had, right? Everything is not something in the country. And then to get around to go sell a little pepper or bilabola you made is the problem during that time of the year.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's a problem. Yeah. You can't get to the market. You can't do that. You can't do that. And then now talking about, I don't know if you spoke about the electricity too. Because I've been seeing people coming from over there rejoicing about that too. So and then people come in, the government is not doing nothing. The government is not doing anything. Nothing has changed. How dare you? So what about these people that saying they're not living in a country? If you're saying nothing has changed, if you're saying nothing, huge, but there are some things that have changed, you'll be, people will listen to you a little bit, right? But if you say nothing, absolutely nothing at all, to tell us that the country still looks the same from the day George Weah left and Joseph Boakai took over, then you're not being truthful.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah. So, and that's why if you have something to, people started to be what his name is open up when he said the same thing too about Grangy there.
And he said that almost a year ago, right?
Yeah. And he kept on saying it. And when the people of Grangy there, I think I don't know who made a video one day, they started saying the same thing. I think I had that video. I should even look for it and play it. They said this is what we are supposed to do, right? I mean, because they were saying that because the overwhelming vote for him all the time, right? So, well, it's not happy on his watch. I guess that's what they were saying it, but it's nothing to play politics about. Just say, things have changed. But because they trusted him so much, they expected him to do better. That's why they were saying it. And I would look for that video and play it for the audience to see it. So these little things, those are bread and butter issue as well, Toure. People get into the taking, and then you got MTA buses going, getting there with in less time and less money. Those are all little progress. Like, if you had like, 0 and you went from there to 1, that's a little, that's progress. You can't say you're not at the same place. You went up a little bit. Yeah. So you should say something about it instead of you being dishonest and say, or when other people saying it and then they're going after them because they have to sound, just because you're opposition. I know, and people always say, opposition job is not to praise the government. Nobody asking you to praise government. Just don't speak about it if it's not true.
Well, I mean, like you referenced to that, like one thing I know for a fact, there's your side and there's my side, and then there's the truth. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the truth shall always set us free, no matter what You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
we can always try to be, political in our stance, political in our assertions, political, because every time a politician open their mouth to speak, they are not doing it out of convenience.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing it to evoke certain sentiment in people. It's not like, and that's why some of them, they are very timely, when they really want to talk, and some just don't talk at all. But the ones that talk, they need it because they want to start building their political capital before election time.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't talk, like people like President George Manuel Weah, even though people were forcing him to talk, but he wouldn't talk when he actually come in the country. We at the airport, he talked.
He's not talking because he's having his whatever
right.
they're doing. That's why he's not doing it.
Right, but they will not talk because they already have, how do you call it? How do you call this? I'm trying to look for this word. They have a traditional base, right? They have a base that is there no matter what.
Right.
So the urge to, you know what I mean, to be desperate or like Mr. Cummings, I'm not saying Mr. Cummings is desperate or any sort, but he almost have to be in the news. He need to find a way to be in the news, and that could be either negative or positive, right? But by whatever means necessary, you have to. If you are Mr. Cummings, you have to be part of the news, because former President George Weah not need to do anything to stay command that, right? Like we seen CMC doing today. CMC just want to be in the news. I mean,
they just all over the place.
CMC will have to almost like do anything right now to be in the news, because when you be setting talking point for so long, it start to stick. You know what I mean? People tend to start to be what we call conditioned to these things. Like setting jingle yen all the time, it become like, so that's all they are doing. Mr. Cummings, CMC, they need to be in the news because you got two bigger political institutions in the country. That's the CDC and the Unity Party. They don't need to do more. They have a traditional base, a base that been there for 20 years or more, you know.
That's right. And these guys coming out and saying these things about, I don't know if you played it, you got a video for the Bapolu Senator and Senator Botokane and
I only have a statement. I don't have the video. Her statement, she was very, very emphatic. She didn't say much, but what she said was absolutely to the point. She said, and I quote, "The president told us to fight corruption, but corruption is getting worse. Some officials of government have been investigated by the LACC and indicted by the court, but they are still in their position. No suspension, no dismissal." That was a statement. Good evening, Edwin. How you doing? Edwin Clark, how you doing, brother? Milton Newe, how you doing? Watching us from Louisville, Kentucky. Sister Sis Morris, welcome from Texas, watching us from Texas. Moses Colley, good show. Thank you, Moses. Thank you guys, man. We appreciate you guys continuously supporting us here.
Yeah, please share the show. Please share. Go to your YouTube, your Facebook, and subscribe. comments, engage with us, guys. Don't make it boring. We're saying here running our mouth. You don't want to. Maybe you should put the link in the comment section in case somebody want to show up.
Yeah, I think I should. Let me do that right now. I'll do
Please
that right now.
share the show. Share. Sharing is caring.
Share the show. Come and talk to us. Come join us today. You know. Come and join us. Come in studio. Let talk.
Teresa, I see a lot of people cutting rice in the country. Instantly, what was this? This year, like what was it? Like a farming year or something? I don't know, right?
Obviously, the president made it clear that agriculture will be, and actually, I guess even some of my little brothers, they are all getting engaged with farming. I think the government is getting
sexy.
I think the government is doing something. I think the government is incentivizing farming.
They are. They're giving
the
Minister of Agriculture. They're giving out some money to farmers.
Right.
I forgot how many hectares you had to have. But yeah, that's a good thing.
Right.
It is a good thing, I think. So I wanted to play some of those videos. And there was I think what the senator was talking about today, a lot of people, I say at least one person, Kanina cried. So I remember Kura, we remember when we there was some allegation in the news a while ago that they were involved in some kind of mismanagement or corruption or whatever. And today, the thing came out that her name was clear of every wrongdoing. Cornita Cooper Carl. That's her last name? Yeah. So, so that too. I mean, when we hear these things, right? We come here, we bash them. So when they are clear of it, I think we should be talking about it as well. We shouldn't just leave it.
I think that's the most professional and sincere thing to do. When people are sort of drag to use the librarian.
Yeah.
When we drag people and drag them in the street, when we go through the processes and they're exonerated and stuff like that, then I also muster the same courage and drag them right back to where we drag them from. You know what I mean? I think that is a fair way, Amy, right?
It is. So obviously I try to get this on me. And her name was clear of every wrongdoing today. So that's a good thing for her.
Right.
That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear guilty and this, that, and what have you. Was this the same thing that I posted it last time, or like this is something else?
Well, Amy, a lot of things rather happen in your territory.
Is it?
What? I just saw 20 unit construction. I mean, modern looking unit, Amy.
Oh, you mean Marsha?
Hey, Marshall territory, yeah.
Oh, y'all need to start paying some taxes. I'm telling y'all.
It look like that area there. It look like
territory is territory.
Look like territory.
Mm-hmm. No, people are there.
Let me guess around and get a land that's there.
People are really involved with Marsha. Marsha is the new up and coming, or it has been, should I say. And I think we should. And I don't like too many, y'all shouldn't come. I don't want people to come and make it noisy and take it from the start, the place they were. well reserved and something. So let me do this and then I give you the show back again.
No.
Look at this.
Yeah, you see clock. Oh, shoot.
Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Look at that. That's cassava. People.
The president said back to the soil, and the people apparently they're listening.
So
no,
I show a couple of them here the last
no
time.
country truly
Right.
consider herself independent if they can feed themselves.
Look at this. Young people.
If you can feed yourself, you are not truly independent. Amy, when our COVID was going on, I was worried every single day. I said, if this thing persists any longer, because every country are holding food now. America and I exporting certain food now out of this country. You know that?
Everybody was keeping their kitchen full.
Everybody keeping their food. Now, if you are in a country like bro, where you don't produce anything, and everybody start holding on to their produce because people are not farming everybody home, that is a problem.
Oh, things weren't moving like that. Container and everything was slow.
But that's what I'm saying, because shipment became a problem.
Yeah.
Because nobody are working, everybody are home.
Absolutely.
And when people are home that long, some people now started, even up to now, I mean, like the city of Philadelphia, it took the new mayor now to actually say, no, we need to get people back in these offices. Because people are literally now wanting now to go in offices, even up to today's day.
Who want to? People got used to those things, so who want?
And then companies do realize that there's no need to even start paying rent for the office buildings. So how about keep people home?
I mean, the best way you can get some money, do it, right? But I don't know why. But yeah, so these
Edwin class in Marshall is developing gradually.
Yeah. So we're gonna show this too. And I need to have a chit chat with this boy. I mean, he's doing well.
Territory.
So
guys, the link is at the bottom there, at the top. Just click it and you'll find yourself on camera with me and the beautiful Amy, and we can engage.
You'll find yourself on camera. I think you'll find yourself on camera.
Yeah, you find yourself on camera is magic.
It's literally shocking. I give you cool. I can be laughing on that, but what is?
Say, bro, I giving you clear cool.
I'm not like real. All it talks.
So the cool giving you part that up.
Okay, so look at this. This one. I mean, I like his work, but he needs to stop. Like he's clowning around.
This farm you see is a potty farm. Is that there? Yeah, this is the potty farm. But we start this year with the rest. I think you can see all over in this farm. You can see that this cotton is in all over. But for us to occupy the land, we start with the rest. Yeah. To plant the rest, as we harvest this rest, this cotton with me here and with Martine. Okay. So what will be using the cotton to do? We will be using the cotton to face a country cloth. Yeah. Before our olden times, they used to produce the cotton, do it with cloth. Like you see local country, because there was culture, you see country cloth over. So that's the reason we want to be producing it here. Okay. So the initiative was on the president himself. Yeah. During the time he was serving as vice president, that's the time he brought this project. But then when Unity Party left power, this building had been here for so long. So when he take over, he decided to come back and see that this building will come up through our mother, Mama Ripoto, who happened to talk to him, and he accepted to bring this building back. She had been the one that be coming from Monrovia all of the time, doing all of this work that you see here. Even the farm we see through the president, Mama Mary had been implementing this farm here. Okay. Then so now the rest will only be used after your produce the getting the cotton. So the rest will be manufactured in different factories and other stuff, because it's a huge plantation here. I think the rest from here all the way going to that field and other things. Yeah, actually it's about 25 acres here. Well, you yeah, everything contains rest and the cotton is about 25 acres. Wow. So guys, you seeing it?
we were in Foya and we showed the plantation of rest. Now we in what kind of time is it? Kolahun. Seeing the rest plantation from here all the way going, and our brother telling us that they face the rest along with the cutting under the liver.
Yeah.
When they, to be facing control clothes, other stuff. Seeing the rest plantation, you seeing the cutting and the cutting there. That's all.
Yeah, cutting up where these are all cutting. So that's how it's looking like all over in the rest.
So that's also rest, yeah.
Yeah.
Also rest. Wow.
Okay, seriously, I think this is enough. So, Terrell, did you know they were growing cotton in Liberia? Did you know that?
Very possible. No, not. I did not know that.
But why would it put it among the rice though? That's why I was kind of finding that.
Well, people do plant stuff among rice sometimes because rice don't come with and something like a carding. We're not, there are certain weeds that you can plant among certain things, fear of it over, powering those grains, but a cotton tree is not one of them. And even cassava is not one of them either because they don't want to grow just straight up. You know what I mean?
So today, Teray, we had. I gotta turn this over to you. Let me be some here. Today we had a president retire. I don't know if you heard about it. This is your show. I'm not gonna. If you just
no, that you on it now.
No, I'm. You know I mean it by doing.
Yeah, but saying
so yeah, but retiring some militaries, people who are served or with some very handsome amount of money.
The both serve their country. Let it go enjoy their retirement.
And it was raining?
Of course.
And as a commander-in-chief, I'm also president of the Republic of Liberia.
The fools are still on the ring,
which I amended as a constitutional role. His Excellency will
or maybe they were already in there when it started raining. And military people now they are built different.
So you that are still fresh, you look at it, and that's why the excitement is so much today. Because I know exactly, as Chief of Staff, when I'm retiring, I will be retired with honor. And I will go home with some lump sum money. And my salary of 50, 51, 52%, 60% will be placed in my account every month as my pension. And that monies are already.
And that was Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. They're speaking to newsmen here, and he was saying lump sum amount of 40,000 and 35,000. And
yeah, that's right. One person 40,000, 25,000.
This is the first person kind of Liberia.
Say 1847.
That amount is already in their accounts, and they're just coming for the pleasantries for the occasion itself. But the men already have the money, and so almost like more than the band unit will be retired today, and that signifies something good for the country, something good for the men and women in arms of the armed forces of Liberia. And that is one thing that we all must learn, because service to country, service to what you do is important, and the the chief of staff was just, and this is
rain.
And there you have, they are coming to receive the president here. And in a moment, we'll also witness the arrival of the chief of staff. There you have His Excellency. The President will be given the guard of honor.
They can't obey. We'll put it outside. To the journalists, we kindly advise that you obey the regulations here. This is a military institution. Discipline is first and foremost. If they went that way, they will block the wave.
Man, you don't have to talk to me or anything right now.
Above the receipt from the system, we say, Lord, let it be used for that intended purpose. Bless this day and bless our heart. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the blessed Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you for the invocation. Next is welcome remarks by the Assistant Chief of Staff for Operations, Colonel Cephas Pope.
His Excellency, Joseph Yumabwaka Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Honorable Lumoti Cyrus, Chairman, Senate Committee on Defense, Security, Intelligence, and Veteran Affairs, all the members of the Senate and House here present, Councilor Asa Tuer, Minister Attorney General, all the cabinet members here present, Office of the National Security Advisor, Office of the Veteran Security Advisor, Office of Security Cooperation of the U.S. Embassy, members of the ECOWAS Ambassador Training Team, officers and men of the Armed Forces of Liberia, esteemed members of the Veteran Bureau, family members of our distinguished retirees, and most importantly, our special honorees today, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Liberians. I'm Colonel Cephas T. Bo, Assistant Chief of Staff for Operations, Armed Forces of Liberia. On behalf of His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine General George retired, the Honorable Minister of National and the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Brigadier General Davidson Farrah Fuller, I welcome you all to this momentous occasion with profound respect and immense pride. This ceremony signifies the accumulation of dedicated service, sacrifice, and patriotism by our esteemed soldiers of the armed forces of Liberia. Today, we gather to honor men and women who have committed their lives to the defense, stability, and development of our beloved nation. Your presence here today, especially His Excellency the President of Liberia, underscores the significance of this event. A heartfelt tribute to those who have worn the uniform of honor, resilience, unwavering commitment, and due diligence. This ceremony is not only a farewell or a contribution of service, but a celebration of service, a recognition of the sacrifices, discipline, and dedication demonstrated by our retiring soldiers over the years. Their contributions have been instrumental in safeguarding our sovereignty, maintaining peace, and advancing Liberia's national interests. Today, we express our deepest gratitude for their unwavering patriotism and exemplary conduct. As we mark this significant milestone, let us also reaffirm our collective commitment to strengthening the armed forces of Liberia. Our nation's security and progress depend on a well-supported, adequately trained, disciplined, and motivated military. The retirement of these distinguished soldiers is a reminder of the importance of nurturing our human resources and investing in our armed forces for a peace and stable future. On this note, I invite everyone present, including our esteemed guests of honor, as the President, to reflect on the
you want to play the whole thing?
Heroism and patriotism exemplified by our retired soldiers. May the examples.
How long is it?
It's a bit long. I just realized it's a bit long. So let's just
yeah, maybe you can just probably a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to see if they were giving it.
Okay, right there.
So these are the people.
The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria.
You still had these people in the military?
Paragraph 4 of the Special Order. Retirement enlisted. Master Sergeant Pa Richard S. Service number EN/2006-01/1753.
What?
Master Sergeant Sandy Jala J. Service number EN/2006-01/1754. Post-mortem is deceased.
These people should be considered veteran now.
Harris K.
Toure.
Service number
He's in a wheelchair.
EN/2006.
But what do you expect? Liberia military, what time I see them going for combat? The men again even train.
But still, man.
Ramos K. Service number EN/2006-01/176. The above being enlisted served in the armed forces of Liberia for 19 years and dedicated their time and service.
How old was he when he joined the army?
You're probably 45.
While performing their respective military duties.
You still got to respect people for serving our countries.
Yeah, you do. But I mean, why they kept taking it that long to
their ability to effectively discharge their duties
opportunity, Amy,
prompted
to retire under the right government.
Yeah. How about that? I don't tell you on there.
From the armed forces of Liberia with immediate effect.
People have been retired.
Authenticated the COS, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia.
Wow.
After reading the
I think they had two of them in wheelchair. The one that sitting next to the lady.
The Commander-in-Chief
right.
of the Armed Forces of
Liberia. And on their end.
The movement of silence for the fallen personnel.
That's abuse.
Master Sergeant Sandy Jala J.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
I'll tell you on that. I want
I call that abuse.
Thank you, sir.
They should have been giving these people that retirement.
Where you got elderly abuse?
Yes.
Citation for Captain James Bakoya Jr. Service number OF/2008.
And guy, I don't know that U.S. people army or who they're sitting there looking at these people like, what the?
When they get there, anybody who want to do anything,
on 18 January 1970,
then they inform their intelligence.
Bankabon County. He obtained
Say, look like that rape picking and start doing something.
a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from the University of Liberia.
President Baga himself retiring from the army.
Of Liberia as an officer, Kennedy, and completed his initial entry training in advanced
You got to be kidding me.
and the Officer Kennedy School in 2008.
So what job were they doing now?
Upon the graduation of
retirement.
he was promoted to the rank of second lieutenant. Following the period of
He was there.
Your wife or your daughter?
The demonstration of leadership. Captain Bakoya earned the promotion to the rank of first lieutenant. A few years later, he was again promoted to the rank of captain. Captain Bakoya enhanced his
That's elderly abuse. I'm sorry, that's what I call it.
by completing his commando course. Company commando course.
That's what this is. These people should have been retired.
Should have been retired a long time.
To support his continued advancement.
Why is he even coming to the ceremony? That means you be chilling.
Captain Bakoya has held several appointments in the armed forces of Nigeria. These appointments include military advisor.
I've been on suffer too. I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been on suffer, man.
Of the armed forces of Nigeria, now current Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine George, retired. And also, he served as the Deputy for Plans and Policy, G5, at the 23rd Infantry Brigade. Captain Bakoya is married to Maji L. Bakoya, and the union is blessed with 4 children: Edward J. Bakoya, Prince Bakoya, Solomon Bakoya, and Amelia Bakoya. Captain Bakoya has already moved to receive his certificate of retirement and the check for the payment of gratuity.
But you're moving from over there now. You're moving from the camera. If you're gonna be taking care of him like that, then obviously.
Captain Bakoya, it is a pleasure to honor you this morning for your service to your country. And we're very proud of you, and we thank you for being a great soldier that have served your country well. We present you the certificate of honor. Congratulations.
The main retirement should be on time at all. The only thing I can say.
Thank you.
You see, don't want to keep protesting for the retirement money again.
At the same time,
Bamba, real wheelchair that will be in the street.
We want to show you that you have not been forgotten for the service that you rendered to your country. And we've given you this check representing the amount of 45,000 United States dollars that will be given to you so as to show you appreciation for your service. Liberian. This okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam.
That's a lump sum of settlement there, though. For the $5,000. I mean, obviously, that amount cannot in any way, you know, but it's still a good thing, man. I think that hopefully the person that's going to be taking care of him, that person can use that money, you know, to cater to his needs.
For Warrant Officer 2, General Merchant, service number EN 2006-01/1705 of the Armed Forces of Nigeria Bank Unit. Warrant Officer 2, General Merchant, was born on 19 February 1954 in Indiana, Grand Bassa County, onto the union of Mr. and Mrs. Willie T. Merchant.
Oh man, stay strong. Oh man, posture.
Education at the Indiana Elementary and Junior High School in the mid-1960s. She later relocated to Monrovia to enroll at the Boswell High School in 1971, where she graduated under the principalship of Liz Mary Brunel. Debbie Wotu Merchant was enlisted into the Armed Forces of Liberia on 16 December 1975 and completed her basic training.
Wow, 1975?
Military barracks.
We've been serving a college in 1975?
Armed Forces of Nigeria
Golly.
as the lead vocalist and was subsequently appointed as drum major.
1975, she been serving like bro.
In 1988, and she was sent back
Oh God, thank you.
Academy, where she served as the drill sergeant. While serving in the whole Armed Forces of Liberia, she rose to the rank of captain, a rank she held until the demobilization of the whole Armed Forces of Liberia. She re-enlisted into the new Armed Forces of Liberia on 15 November 2006 as a member of the Bank Unit after completing the 7 months of advanced musical training conducted by Dancorp International through the security sector reform. On 8 June 2012, she was appointed as the Deputy Pen Master. In 2018, Warrant Officer 2 Merchant was part of the Liberia contingent, number 5, where she served on the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali. Warrant Officer Gally Merchant is a mother of 3 children, Tumata J. Boyer, Papa Boyer, and Fode Boyer, and a grandmother of several children. At this time,
Gally, you brought a lot of happiness to people when you were at mayor. We all watch you. Women were very proud to see you perform the way you did. We want to thank you for your service to your country, and we are very happy today to honor you in a special way and to present you this certificate and say thank you for serving your country very well. To present you the certificate of honor.
You all take a picture.
And also, we know that you've done a great job, and we say that as a token, you have here a check in the amount of 45,000 United States dollars. Thank you, and God bless you.
And thank you too, sir.
Photo up. Photo up.
Please be seated.
Yeah, man. They put they put 70 out right. I mean, 45K. Shoot. That's awesome, man. You know, and I'm telling you that you know that
a lot of pots are balling tonight.
Well, and a lot. I mean, I just hope that like that old man definitely she will be able to enjoy some of that money. But that old man looking, you know, he's a little bit off now. But yeah, man.
His children, his family didn't see that money.
Yeah, I hope you know, I just pray because
I just hope they take care of him.
Yeah, the elderly people get abused in that place on their own money. Even in America, it happens sometimes, you know. You know, if you don't have the right people around you, people that really serve your best interests in your old age, and some of the people that really take advantage can be your own children.
Yeah.
You know, but I just pray that $45,000 cash, and you still getting a retirement. I mean, that can definitely, you know, improve, you know, maybe you can recondition living place, make it wheelchair accessible, get some, you know, you can do a lot of stuff, you know. So I just hope that they, you know, actually use that money in the right areas. But that is a huge money to receive if you're in that, bro. I got money like that.
I mean, it's a big deal to Ray. I decided for other places because I remember. And I hope people don't take this to be politics, right? I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying hard not to do that. But we also have to point out when people are being so insensitive to our people, right? Mm-hmm. I remember these people, like some people fighting for that just retirement.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
They were giving
it what, $40, $20, or $80. And they was fighting for that money. They were not even getting it to it. I remember one lady, they always told them, go come back. And that lady fell. I think the sun was so hot. It was, what, 2022? She fell. I heard they took her, she fainted. They took her to the hospital. I heard later on they said she passed away or something. And I felt so bad. So how can people be so evil? $20 is not even anything for you to give people, and then you make some of them not even live in Monrovia, right? You keep telling them go come for that $20, $40. They probably took money from people to pay their way to come in here, and they can't get the money. You tell them to go come. Where are they going to be sleeping to go come? Man.
No, I mean, I remember that story. I remember one day they interviewed one on the other network, and the person was talking about, I really don't get money now to pay my way to come here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It was horrible.
And Stanton actually, you know, I mean, you can say everything about Stanton. I mean, he's stepping. He even offered them 2 bags of rice each. You know,
yeah, it was bad.
Just a little things, man. But again, you know, this definitely was not going to be possible under President George Manuel Weah. I mean, talking about a low sum. When last you saw anybody getting paid that kind of money in retirement? I don't know how it used to be done under Madame Saliv. I'm not going to speak to that. But to retire people,
obviously she didn't give them something too because they were in the street. I will.
No. You know what? You know what she did? They set up this. They set up their pension for them, right?
Oh, I remember. They won.
Where they were taking, you know, like Social Security. You know how Social Security do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they were taking certain amount of money for them from their pay, right?
And putting it in there, right?
And then according to the guy, how do you call the guy? Former former chief of staff. I don't know, chief of staff or whatever.
Defense minister.
The defense minister of how do you call him?
Brani
Samukai. He said that it was President Saliv that instructed him to use that money for something.
Was it some of it or all of it?
I'm like, yo, man, that lady was trifling, man. Like that's the same thing she did too with that whole knockout situation when she said she take full responsibility for her son bankrolling that place. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And she don't coming out yesterday talking about, yo, man, oh my God, look, man, just relax until the day got ready for you. Start getting engaged with ATM because, you know, some really, you know, I'll telling people how that woman laid all the foundation for Liberia to be like the way Liberia is today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people say, no, my man, that woman king, that woman brought structure. Yeah, she brought structure, and then what did she do? She ruined everything before she left.
She did some, but
bro, what are you talking about? She literally, in fact, she brought what she did for Liberia. She brought a lot of international eyes, right? International media and stuff like that to Liberia, which was good, right? Because when you like that now, when a country having that kind of a lot of eyeballs focusing on our country, that is a damn good development and investment prospect. You gain a lot of opportunity from that because people are focusing on you. But to go back to doing the kind of things she did, even from the documentary I played last Saturday, people even invited me to play it again. Like, bro, she looked at Firestone that facilitated army and supplying Charles Taylor with fuel and food while he was carrying on his war.
Mm-hmm.
A multi-billion-dollar company. When this guy, former or interim president, or how do you call the guy, man? Morris, he sent pass. He even buried in Maryland.
Emmett Sawyer.
No,
no, they took him home.
The Judy Bryan.
No, he was buried, Amy.
No, Amos saw buried in Liberia. They took him home.
For real?
Yeah.
Saw him buried. Yeah.
I mean, they get mad at the former president. They can't bury him also.
Yeah. So
all right. So basically, Amos Sawyer on that tape. Amos Sawyer, matter of fact, he said, "I'm not even going to invest. I'm not even going to wait for investigation. Firestone is wrong, and Firestone should pay." But what did Ellen say? Ellen was president. Ellen said it was okay. Liberians are tired of this. We just want to.
No, she was hiding her butt.
What are you talking about, man?
Firestone should have been charged to build every rose and every. They should have been paying billions of dollars to Liberia for what they did.
Firestone, right? Firestone.
Couple of billions to Liberia for what they did.
Because of that bad PR, Firestone merged with a company called now Bridgestone.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, right? It's the same.
Bridgestone. Yeah, it's the same people. They just try to
people, but because of bad PR doing their involvement with Liberian Civil War, right? That is a $1 billion company. It's the biggest tire making company in the world, right? But Madame Salif said, "Oh, it's okay. Liberian just want to forge ahead." What are you talking about? These people contributed to the war. They were feeding and feeding. I mean, according to the report, people used to go to Firestone compound and literally get gasoline from there and get rice bag from there.
But I was aiding and abetting.
Right. Then Ellen said, no, let bygone be bygone, all that stuff.
But Firestone can still be held accountable. If anybody, if a serious president who wants to do that, what it did, I mean, she didn't give them no. I don't think I have any kind of statute or limitation or whatever, something like that.
Of course, no crime
they can still get something. I mean, they were right on the video. They were saying it themselves. It was all about the money, the profit for them. That's what it was. But welcome to Ray. I mean, welcome, Momo and Morris. Come here, Morris.
Thank you.
But Momo, Ray got this. Doing something in the back. Yes, man.
He's still welcome to Ray. But yeah, I mean, it's good to join the show. I think I saw the clip, the ceremony, but the soldier people. Look, Liberia came a long way in terms of providing safe haven for people around the world. In terms of our army, we sent army to Congo. Whatever they did there, that another discussion there. But we sent our army to Congo for peacekeeping, and we sent our army to Mali for peacekeeping. I mean, we came a long way. They stood the test of time during the Civil War. They try. At the end of the day, they stick. The AFL was still there. They were not dissolved. So we came a long way. It's a very good idea. For the government to even, conceptualize the idea of retiring. The soldiers, those who, serve the country. When Madame Salif came in during the post-war restructure of the army. The way they did it is not as compared to. I think they just call all those that in the army were dissolving the army, but then they consider the army to be a warring faction. However, they came at that conclusion, but they consider the AFL to be a warring faction. So they agree that the AFL should be dissolved, and so I think they give across the board 540. If you used to hear the word 540. They give everyone of them 540. I think 540 across the board. I mean, it's a good thing. Look, I think the President Bouakar's step towards reconciliation is actually different, because mind you, ECOMOG came in this country. Soldiers from different African countries came in this country. Some of them died. Some of them born children in the country. Some of them, up to now, their national government cannot even announce to the people that, look, the amount of people that were staying in Liberia, they died. They keep telling them that, look, the people on different missions. So recently they gone 26. I think the president has something like, recognition of people that, the countries that actually fought in Liberia. If you could see where I think he awarded the Sierra Leone president on behalf of Sierra Leone, Nigeria, all this. So, I mean, it's a good idea, for him to even recognize the soldiers, people that are serving the army for all these years and give them a sum of money. It's a very good idea. But I will make one recommendation to the Unity Party, to President Bouakar government. You can also do similar thing. If anybody here, anybody on my voice, you can do similar thing to our footballers, to our Lone Star former players. You can't do it like retiring, but you can do it like certificate, honor them. The current former Lone Star players that are alive today, those that we can able to lay hand on, we can do the same thing for them. Just have a big program, honor them, certificate them. Even if you give them $3,000 across the board, it will not do anything to the government. I think they deserve it. We can do that. I will just make that recommendation to the national government. We can also do that. The President Weah should have done that, but probably he didn't think about that. I think the government can take advantage to do that.
Morris, I see they honoring, but why should they pay them money? These people are all out there making money on that. Why should they give them money in honoring them? The country can honor them. I agree with that, but why give them money over it?
So that the money problem get problem with, right? We can have that discussion. We can have that discussion.
No, you're talking about people now, so we're talking about it.
No, what I'm saying, I agree with you. We can have that discussion. Whether it will be necessary for the government to give them money. But since you agree that the honorary program makes sense, it's one way, it's halfway to the So I agree. It can be a discussion, but I think we need to honor our former Lone Star players. We need to have a program for them like that.
Toure?
Yes.
Are you gonna usher Momo in?
Yeah, bro, Momo.
Yeah.
I mean, then we'll get to some talking points here, because I got a couple of talking points that I really want to get engaged with.
Thank you.
But talk based on that military issue, because you probably have a different perspective on this than any one of us.
So you guys,
or maybe Amy, because Amy, but go ahead, Momo.
I heard Amy.
My man, wait, man.
I heard it was a good thing that was initiated by the president to honor people who honorably serve their country, especially retiring them. Every service has a retirement date. Especially once you reach that time in service that you should be retired, you get retired. And I believe that the president took a very good step. It's a good initiative by him as the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia to begin to see fit, and honor people for their service to their country. It's not an easy thing to serve. Service to country is something that is unlike anything. It's a patriotic duty to your country. So I believe that the president, in his own wisdom, alongside the defense minister, all of the people who instituted that and tried to bring some dignity to our servicemen and women, it is always welcome. I'm all for it. That was a good initiative. And then talking about whether did you give them money? Amy, what are you talking about? This is retirement. There's no extra retirement fund set up for these people, right? These people, I believe, during their service to the country, pay money into the retirement fund. Remember what they say about Brandon Samka when he took the people retirement fund and used it, whatever, for other purposes. Those are money that should have been there for them. So if
no, you're talking about something else. Morris was talking about doing the same thing for the Lone Star players.
Oh no, I'm focusing strictly on
Nigeria. I won't have a problem with.
No, I don't want to compare. Those is the same national duty, but that's a different separate conversation. I'm talking about people who, in terms of when it comes to, where there's fire, they raise their hand to die in service of their country, right? That's a service that many people wouldn't want to take on. But people who, in spite of the difficulties and challenges that the nation face, are willing to die for their country, are willing to face external threats, are willing to face adversaries and die for the country. That's a service that you don't see people just taking. So, but I want to go furthermore when it comes to our armed forces, right? It's about time that we begin to look deeply into the armed forces of Liberia and see whether more can be done when it comes to the recruitment effort, when it comes to making the AFL attractive to ordinary citizens. What is it that the government can do to make this noble institution more attractive to our young men and women? Because we need them to serve their country. Is it that we should provide more incentives, more benefits that would make this serving their nation more attractive. Whether we could institute something like, if you join the military, if you sign up for 3, 4, 5 years, we gave certain member of your family free health care, free tuition or free school, maybe from elementary to high school if you honorably serve your country. Are there any other incentives that we can use to make the military more attractive? Or what again? These days we're seeing a lot of our young people being so idle, they're not doing nothing after high school. They say that's how they end up becoming muyan, they end up becoming people who are behind lawmakers and be singing songs, and they are being used for political purposes. Why don't we make serving the country a national duty upon high school? If every male in the country should serve the country for at least a year in the U.S. in the armed forces of Liberia, that will at least help shape the minds and train most of our young people who may not have the sort of guidance after high school like that. Why don't we make it a national duty through the Ministry of Education, have all our male of the graduating age to sign up for the Liberian Army, because as we see currently, the army is understaffed. Our army is not even close to a brigade size, which is troubling. When we're talking about numerical strength, we don't have that numerical strength as a nation. So why don't the government start to think about making it a national service for all male students in the country upon high school?
We'll definitely take that conversation there. But that was just that is a very important point that you just raised over there. And we talk about discipline. A lot of our young men lack discipline. And we know anything about military, the military will even help with that. You know what I mean? Like, when doing our people in days, they have stuff that they used to call, I don't know, how do you call it, team, man? Boss cop. You know what I mean? Like, that used to help a lot.
Yeah, we can institute selected service in Liberia while you're in high school. Once you graduate, we send you to the military mandatory service, or year of mandatory service for all male in the republic. It will help to not keep our young boys just idle and politicians use them for nonsense. Many of them will be well trained. Some of them must take the military as a career from there. Like, I only 1 year I've been here. I want to extend my contract. I think I like it here. Then it will also give us that numerical strength that we lack. So
but to 10 seconds, right? It's a good idea, but also to add to that, right? We have an army that just, so to speak, stuck in the barrack, right? Normally, a country like Liberia, right? A country like Liberia, where it's rare for us to just expect, for the army to really put into action. So one of the things to make the army attractive is that the other countries can do it. The armies, if you have some other countries, they got armies that teaching in the classroom. They got armies that engineering. Some of them are agriculturists. They're not just stuck in the barrack, right? If we train our armies to be diverse, it will also attract. But if you just have an army that just stuck in the barrack,
Gassama, I'd agree with it. That means if the more numerical strength you have different MOS. It's called military occupational specialty. Different jobs. You look at electrician. You look at plumbing.
Somebody can be in the classroom teaching.
They have a whole plumbing brigade. You have a whole cyber brigade. People who know computer science. So based on what you know from high school, we will give you an aptitude test. You join the army or you join the military. Based on your score, we give you a certain job. So if you score low, we put you on a low end job. Maybe you'll just be a plumber. We'll put you into the technical. If you score higher, we say that this guy IQ is this way. We make you a cyber guy. We'll put you in the cyber unit. So yes, we will provide even landscaping. Liberia needs people, so we can use our army to give our city, our environment a good facelift. So we can get a whole landscaping brigade. So we need to start to think in that direction. How can we make it, even at that, make it so attractive so that once you join the military, when you sign up for the minimum 5 years, we say once you join, if prior to you joining, if you are married and you have maybe 4 children, the military will be responsible to pay 2 school fees as long as you are honorably serving. But now the contract will have where if you mess up, then your family lose all the benefit and you yourself will be kicked out of the military. So guess what? You will always be in line to perform your duty diligently with honor and integrity. So we need to start to think in that direction, especially when it comes to our young people. They don't have jobs. The army can be a place where not only will they have a job, but it will help to mold the minds of our young people.
Absolutely. I totally agree. All right. So let's get to topics here, right? You know, a lot of been happening. They feed in like bro. So the GAC came up with a report today. At least I became aware of it today. That there was almost like 77 businesses that were listed to be that government owe money to. Okay. And number 5 on that list was Finabondo Daughters. Finabondo Daughter Company. The company name is Anita Group or Anita Group of Companies. You know what I'm saying? But Mario, why are you laughing, my man? So
the name tells it all.
So according to the report that several attempts have been made to this company by the GSA, GAC rather, to come and justify. You know what I'm saying? Justify. You say government owe you money, right? Okay, bring your receipts. From 2024 now, Morris, up to now, you know, they put that come on anything. So government close it up. You can't justify. You can't bring receipt. You can't tell us.
Nobody won't gonna claim that money.
Huh?
Nobody won't gonna claim that money.
Yeah. So on claim, you know, nobody won't claim it. So, but Morris, let me start with Morris. How do you justify that kind of behavior? I mean, you're talking about the sum of US $704 million.
What?
Yeah.
$704 million through debt scam, right? Finabondo Daughter Company is at number 5.
Wait, 700?
700 across 77 businesses that the GAC booked for.
That is almost our country budget.
Trying to take that amount of money saved from government. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 77 businesses claim that government owed them in a sum of $704 million.
Maybe my business among them. I need to look at
So, Morris.
Yeah.
Is this something, or is this because this thing is something? It seems like this thing may happening in bro. But maybe the administration just trying to do something about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I would take it from this point, right? A lot of things be happening in the country, and some of those things are just the domestic debt. The domestic debt thing is not just new. It's something that if anybody can remember, Dillon started this. He started this fight in the Senate. He demanded many days. He demanded the finance ministry to produce the list. He said government just produce the list. They were on that thing for almost a year plus. They could not. But yesterday they demand that the government owe almost pretty close to $1 billion domestic debt. Now, the GSC, according to their own audit, they came to realize that out of this $704 million, the government should not pay nothing because these people who claim that the government owed them, they cannot verify, they cannot show any proof that the government owed them, so the government should not pay. It's dumb. I mean, imagine that 704 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, there are many ways. There are many ways that corruption can come in many ways. Because look, if I come to you, if you're working at finance ministry, I just come to you, you cross the deal, this and that. You say, my man, yeah, do it. The government is not on government record. If you because you senator, you just do some kind of paperwork, you say, my man, you just go to the government that you owe. You're not on government record. And these are some of the things. So they will not come out. They will not come out. But one thing that really interests me about this whole government, the highest level of professionalism, nobody even know that they audit the GSA working. Nobody even know that. I don't even know the GSA name, the auditor name, the general auditor. I don't even know his name. And that's how professional people work. Unlike the past, probably before even the report come out, 2 to 3 days, it will be all in the news.
Right.
It will be all in the news. But the people working. They are so professional, they're not talking, they're not, and we have a country that is highly political. I remember George, what's the guy name? John Molu. How you, a auditor general, you came to audit, especially a post-war country, a post-war government. You not even start your work. They say the government is 10 times corrupt. You already prejudice your whole work. So at the end of the day, we whole time that just knows left and right, this and that. Auditing, these are some of the reasons why the auditing report nobody can even validate it, because before even come in the news already 2 to 3 a week, everybody know. So back to the issue, right? The whole domestic thing. Look, back up in Ture, that's what the people been doing. Somebody will just wake up, he just go to government, say the government owe me. Because of that person and some kind of government, agency or minister in some kind of kuhu, mama just go 200,000-300,000, they give it to you. You go share money.
Morris, let me hold you there, right? So let me come to Momo. So basically, Mari just said maybe this is a usual practice. Because according to Babulu Mame, he said while some of these companies may be real, but there are numerous of them that may be fake. And at sometimes finance ministers or ministers, they will actually fabricate these names, to get kickbacks.
But it's the same like our
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you alluded. I mean, but Mr. Tule, my man, what's going on here, my man? Look, man, not that nothing. They ain't do that kind of money. That's no money there.
No,
that's a lot of money, bro.
Like Kasama just said, look, Liberia, our fundamental issue is that we are not fair to ourselves. We have no law for country. That's why oftentimes when I see, us painting red, white, and blue, every building or whatever is about red, white, and blue, trying to show patriotism through our national color. Patriotism is from the heart. Patriotism is not about displaying color. It's from the heart. Love for country is from the heart.
Absolutely.
So all that extra, look, those companies, they will appear to be legit, because if I'm working in government, I'm a top government official. I can tell I say Amy is my girlfriend or my sister or whatever. I say, look, form a company. Look, they got a contract here, right?
Yep.
We will award you we'll go through the regular process of PPCC, whatever, the standard operating procedure. We'll go through all the formality. We're just doing it as a charade, as a detour. But guess what? You ain't gotta do the job. We'll give you the money.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things like that happen during the administration of George Manuel Weah, where a lot of people were awarded contracts that didn't do a damn job for the contract that they were awarded. They give them the money and they didn't do a damn thing. Look at what Safwa made great. That no-car building that is being erected today. She wrote check 2 times for that particular $700 plus $1,000, right? $700 something $1,000, right? And then that is the check went to the bank. She in no time that check was withdrawn from that money was clear. Pablo Mame flagged that. This is exactly how these people were ripping our country, and and that's why you see there was no progress made because no one was held accountable. Now, what do we do now that we have found all of these, financial malfeasance in our governance system? It's what determines whether this government that we have now is serious to fight corruption. It's not about what happened because we know this list coming up wasn't surprising to me. I was not shocked. I knew they were there. It was just a matter of time. DeLong consistently preached about the domestic debt that he wanted. Everybody thought DeLong was just trying to score political points or he wanted to show himself as the best senator. But this guy was actually flagging. He knew that they existed. So now that they've come out, even if they call you for the $704 million that we're not supposed to pay for, it should not be left undone. If you had a company and that company was tied to you, you must come and answer. You must be subpoenaed and come and explain to the government about the money they owe you and how you became party to that particular business and why is it that you requested such money. And if you cannot prove it,
right,
you should be held liable because that is corruption in and of itself. It's corruption. Because if the General Auditing Commission had not done their due diligence to find out all these mishaps and financial malfeasance that was about to take place, that money would have gone in the hands of corrupt individuals, and the country would have been money that should have benefited the country would have gone in the hands of the wrong people. So even though the payment was not made to those individuals and it was caught, it's also important that those individuals be subpoenaed to come and tell us how their company was tied to such payment and
Absolutely.
Why is it that those payments should have been made to them. They should come and prove it. They shouldn't stay away. They should not allow them to walk free. They should go after them.
Absolutely. And let me say this. So Abla Mambe went as far as saying for Finabondo's daughter's company, the guys were at the Ministry of Finance during President Weah's time, said that the president owes Finabondo's company $500,000, but it could not show the work the company did for the government. So the GSA said, before we pay you, we want to check. Then the GSA been putting announcement outside telling Finabondo business and other businesses that say the government owed them to carry their contract to GAC or just show the work they did. The last announcement was in December 2024. See it in the comment section. But from that point up to today's day, Finabondo and her daughter have failed to provide anything to show their company did for the $500,000 work they are claiming that the government owes them. Therefore, GSA canceled the claim and government owes Finabondo daughters nothing. Amy, do you want to have a say on this or would you go to the next topic? Because I know you're busy doing homework. All right, we just pass Amy. So look, guys. So we had a lot of senators talking today. A lot of them are talking today. We had my own mother, because she's from a Mark County and she carries the same last name as my mom. Botu Kane. We gotta say the government told us something different, and the government is not doing something that they thought that they were doing. She said the president told us to fight corruption, but corruption is getting worse. Some officials of government have been investigated by the LACC and indicted by the court, but they are still in their position, no suspension, no dismissal. It's not too late, man. what is going on here? That's coming from a senator who don't really say much. You know, she's not the kind of lousy type, you know. But this is what she's saying. That corruption is getting worse. And she's frustrated that people are being indicted, and some of these individuals stay in their position without any suspension or dismissal.
But
what is your position, bro?
The corruption, I believe, in this administration does exist. And but what's different from this administration and the past administration is that once it is brought to the attention of this president, he takes action. Okay? I'm not saying, however, it is the judicial system that is sort of delaying due process. There are a lot of cases that are on the docket of the judges that are in charge of these corruption cases that are causing, they're basically stalled because of the preponderance of different cases that are there, that it takes time to get to these cases. However, I would urge the government to set up a fast track court, a special court for corruption. All right, because it's taking too many time to do the economic crimes code and all of that. Let us set up a court, a specialized court on corruption, to speedily try these cases of corruption, so that the corporate can, be brought to book. So while it is true that she's frustrated, I also urge, our president to institute, or through the judicial system, to institute a fast track court to sort of, get all these corruption cases on the docket, to get them, to have the for due process to take place. But yeah, corruption is everywhere, and I do share her frustration as a patriotic Liberian like myself. Want anyone involved with mismanaging state resources to be brought to book. You should not be allowed. You should not go away. You should not be let go. There's no impunity. Impunity is no more the order of the day in this administration, as promised by the president in his inaugural address, that anyone who is found in a corrupt act will be dealt with under the full extent of the law. So yeah, Botokane has all right as an elected official to voice her concern about the fact that Parker promised to go after corrupt official. However, he's doing it, but at what pace are these cases being processed?
Okay.
And because of that, we are not seeing a lot of people. We are not seeing assets being recovered by corrupt people.
Okay.
We are not seeing people going to jail for all of these things. So, I
was gonna come there. I was gonna come there with that. That is the next question I was gonna bring, because opinion leader in a community in a country came up with a post today, but that'll be the next one. Let me just have Maurice have his take on this Botokane, position here. Yeah, Maurice, what do you make of Botokane? And look, and to your point, Tule, that's something that I'm frustrated about. But I know one thing, that this government, they like to do, they are very meticulous in their due diligence. They just don't want to bring charges on people. But I know for a fact that when they have all their hands on every evidence and stuff like that, they definitely come down.
But the thing is, it's been 2 years it's almost 2 years in the administration. People should have been behind bars now.
That's the
assets should have been recovered now, somehow, some way.
I agree.
To some extent, there be some percentage of the action should have been taken.
I totally agree. All right, Maurice, my man. Yeah, Maurice, come in. Then we'll come to that opinion leader.
Yeah, we all know that corruption is in the country. There's corruption in every fabric of our society. We all know that. But we have a country that is highly political charged. And look, when I just go and sit anywhere and say government is corrupt, they are corrupt, lot of corrupt government officials, people this and that, I don't think it will make any problem. Nobody will even listen to me. But when somebody who has a voice, like the senator, a senator of a county that represent a county, when you speak, sometimes you should help the process. Every time a leader speak is almost like a policy statement. It got weight. Mm-hmm. We all know that corruption in the country, in the country, yes. But when the senator, a senator of a county, when you say, look, President Bouaka is now corrupt, I'm frustrated, there's a lot of corrupt government officials, sometimes just point 1 and 2 so that you can help the process. But this just coming up to say there's corruption, government official, the president is now fighting corruption, I don't think that is a fair statement. Because if you just say that, how can the government even respond to that statement? Probably you might be saying it in good faith, but how can the government even respond? President Bouaka is not the last time this person was indicted. John Brown was indicted at so agency. Why is he still there? In that case, you have hit the nail on the wall. And one thing, we have a country that we have laws that are so bad. And take, for instance, right, the asset recovery. When the people started, they were all on the street. They were going everywhere. The same people. Finabono and people run to the Supreme Court. Where in the world, somebody, asset recovery team decide to do their work. There's somebody run to the court and say, y'all put stop to it. And the court listen to that. 9 months. The whole country sit down. The whole country sit down quietly. 9 months. He put halt to the people. Hey, man. Nobody, the whole country, the country did not even get angry to say, no, this is not fair. You cannot do this. The asset recovery, they went by in their share. 9 months before you could leave for this. So you see, and like the brother said, our code, our judiciary system is so very, very, I don't know why, it's so slow. So there are a whole lot of things that we can work on as a country so that this whole corruption fight, it can be expedited, because we have a country where if the president just grabs somebody just now, look at Samuel Toy, up to now, Samuel Toy include, every now and then, the defense team will go and tell the Supreme Court, tell the court, oh, we need more time, we need more time, we need more. Why the hell you need more time? Why should the court even keep granting time? For what? Look at it. Look at the how they call it, play the capital burning. Every day, by the time the court decide to go into the case, the defense team will go back to the court and say, we need more time, and they will keep granting. So this is a country, and we're not even paying attention to some of these things. So it's sometimes we have to look at it from the other way. It's really hard. We have a country where everything is hard, but to say the government is not, President Bouaka is not fighting corruption, the government, I don't think it's a fair statement. I don't think so. It's a fair statement.
Okay, so look, Amy. Okay, I'll just forget about Amy tonight. So look, Momo, this is what we have, right? Speaking of the government total walking the process, coming to 3 years now, no indictment, no prominent government official is being charged of any wrongdoing. And we all know that there was absolutely some embezzlement that happened under the government. And I'm talking time, maybe someone who's an influential in the Liberian media landscape. That happened to be old man Samuel Jackson. So Samuel Jackson came out with a post about 16 hours ago, and he said this, something that you touched. He said, if CDC destroy the country and engage in unthinkable corruption, why isn't anyone in jail or being vigorously persecuted? Going into 3 years of the UP administration, why aren't assets being seized, passport blocked? Or is this just a charade? That's Samuel Jackson's position. And I think you alluded to, to a portion of that, not entirely of what he's saying, but he just being very, very should I say dramatic about it, or is he serious? But if he's being dramatic about it, that'll be another thing. But I truly believe 100% what he's saying. It's coming to 3 years. You won't tell me that government have not gotten sufficient evidence that some of these things they in fact happen. What do you make of Samuel Jackson's position?
Yeah, Mr. Jackson made a salient point regarding this. Look, no. If you came to power on a mantra of fighting corruption, you promised the people that those who are responsible for mismanaging state resources would be brought to book. You promised the people, it was part of their campaign messages. Part of the key campaign messages that you go after corrupt officials, people who stole from the government. But then you come to power, though there is some semblance of that happening, but it is being done at a snail pace, and that's concerning. As a UPist, as someone who supports this government, I'm beginning to sort of being so concerned about the level, the way, the kind of pace at which this is, is being
traveling on. It's just
yeah.
too slow for my
Just for
comfort.
me, I just don't like what's going on. In the country in a society like Liberia, there's no time. It shouldn't be any. We want results. We know this government is doing her best, but when it comes to bringing people to book for stealing state resources, I think it is being done at a very slow pace. And to me, people will now begin to see that it seems to be like more like a lip services to these things. The asset recovery team was formed. We are now seeing a lot from them. We're not asking them to immaturely just be all over the place, but do your due diligence and bring people to book. Let there be a special course set up on corruption to deal with corruption cases, especially when it comes to people who looted our state's coffers. But we don't want the issue, this thing to drag on for so long. We're going into our second year in power, and we have not yet get a single person behind bar for corruption. And there are corrupt officials, there are corrupt people, there are people who actually did steal state resources. They are sitting there. They're having, honeymoon. They're having fun, whilst the people whom they stole from are still remain in abject poverty, and they are there smiling and walking around freely.
Okay.
So I believe that any frustration Let me close by saying this. I believe that when when we begin to get frustrated about the magnitude of which they are moving on with this, they should understand us. As UPS, we don't shy away from telling our government,
okay,
that what is true. We don't shy from it. So for me, that the corruption cases and going after corrupt people, I think the government should really rethink it and begin to put their hands on it, and then move away really fast.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let
me continue now, Marius. Look, we know very well Samuel Jackson. Sometimes he likes to just throw things around, but anybody who obviously came across this post and read through it, there is some level of fidelity there. So Morris,
yeah,
coming on the 3 years now, nobody being by, my man. What's up?
You see, Samuel Jackson post is a good point though. But the first thing too, you have to look at, sometimes we have to pay attention to some of this, this fly by night advocates. I will call them that way, right? Because they say Samuel Jackson had the loudest voice on their platform. against the access recovery team. He was beating on them left and right. Why they going after the people? They all on the street going out. They saying Samuel Toa, he was on the people 24/7 beating on them. So you see, they make this statement like, oh, why? Because they know that at the end of the day, by the time you grab one person, the whole country, all the platform will discuss it, this and that, and the court will not do anything. But I agree. I myself, I'm frustrated. I'm deeply, deeply frustrated in the slow pace of the way things going in terms of prosecuting people. And just to end it on this, right? That's what I've always said. There are certain people, there are certain positions require certain people. When Madam Salif took over, I was disappointed in the prosecutory team because the first thing, the justice minister was not right for the position. The solicitor general was not right. Who was the solicitor general? It was Councillor Tiawon Gonglo. He was not fit for the job at the time. Not that he's not a good lawyer, but because you cannot come from a war and you make the chief prosecutor of the country a human rights advocate. What kind of case you think that kind of man will prosecute? They made a human rights advocate. The justice minister was a pastor, so to speak, Councillor Francis Murray Johnson, JPC. I said it. I think I had a post. I had a Facebook post. I said, you have a justice minister that got a Bible on the other hand, then you have a solicitor general that got a human rights book on the other hand. How do we prosecute cases? So it's the same. You have a justice minister, nobody even know. The man like he's sleeping. The solicitor general of this administration, nobody even know him. They say once you're far, I don't know. How you expect them? Certain area needs certain people. By the time you hear their name, you scared. I'm disappointed as well in the slow pace, in terms of the way the government handling.
But Marozo, don't you think at some point, having partisan like Momo Tule, who's absolutely not taking this whole situation lightly? I mean, and there are a lot of progressive UPs out there that are sitting around saying like, but what is going on here? 3 years now, we're coming to 3 years and not a single president. And we all know how the former government, how they operated. I mean, they did not even have.
You guys are pushing the 3 years. You haven't even reached 2 years yet.
We get in there. So it's almost like, it's almost like.
But even 2 years, yeah.
It's almost like counterproductive, right? You doing your homework. Just focus on that. Look.
I'm just telling you, your math not adding up. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the price.
So now, Morris, my thing is, the way they did it in such a way like they did not. We all know Ellen government are corrupt, but it would take you certain level of sophistication to be able to really get some of these guys out, right? Because they did it so covertly. You know what I'm saying? But not these other guys. These guys did their own plain sight. So we are not saying, why is it taking this government so long? Like, you can't get nobody, not a single president.
That is $1 million question. We are and there are a lot of Unity Party supporters of this government. There are a lot of people speaking out. People are frustrated, and that's the difference between this government supporters and people are frustrated. I'm just telling you that I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. People are speaking out.
No, I mean,
there are a lot of people.
Lynn, it does not even matter about the Chief Justice. Under the Ministry of Justice
sorry. Morris land, and after Morris, maybe you can address Lynn for 30 seconds. Yeah, Morris, go ahead.
No, but like people are speaking out. The last time I listened to Patrick Hunter, I think some kind of podcast, he was frustrated. So people are speaking out. I don't know whether the government, the national government is not listening, or probably there's something they're looking at, but people are really speaking out. People are frustrated because the thing here is that you can fix all the roads. You can carry electricity every part of Liberia. You can do everything. If the government fail to prosecute, it's a problem. Because mind you, before Madam Saleh could leave power, Madam Saleh said she failed in the fight against corruption, in the fight against reconciling the country. When Joe Yakin, he make it worse. And the same Unity Party now come back. If they also fail in terms of prosecuting people fighting against corruption, then that's a done deal. So you can do everything that you want to do. If you fail in fighting corruption, in prosecuting people, you will not even, I don't know, man. It will be of no, you know, it will be of no importance, regardless of what you do. If you fail to prosecute and fight corruption like with your teeth,
okay,
it will be a weightless effort.
All right, so Momo, let me give you 30 seconds. I know Lynn Lacroix said the former Chief Justice Cock Block. I don't know how to use it, but you know, all of these investigations doing that lady was corrupt. But Baka just hired somebody right now, right?
Yeah,
the president just hired somebody right now. So I mean,
but what we're saying here is this, right? It is what the executive branch initiates, right? It is the executive branch that is tasked with this responsibility to go after these guys, right? All these people that did see fit that cause that stole money from the state coffers, right? Set up a special corruption court under the Ministry of Justice. Set it up. Create that special corruption court. This is happening in Ghana, right? They don't play. Right. These are serious issues. These are issues that cause the country to continue to remain where it is. You know, these people who continue to lose state covers are moving around with impunity, and nothing is being done. This is the reason why other government officials are not even afraid to get their hands in the cookies jar. So what I expect President Barker to have done is right. Set up just a special corruption court that will fight all matters related to financial malfeasance. We should not sit there and continue to do lip service to this thing. However, people can always take appeal to the Supreme Court or whatever. Yes, for the Supreme Court, they can block some of the cases, but not. Look, if you take on these cases vigorously and vehemently go after these corrupt individuals, right? By this time, at least 2 or 3 people could be behind bars, and their asset could have been recovered a long time ago. But going to 2 years of this administration and not seeing not a single person behind bars, are you telling me that the government does not have the ability to gather evidence and go after these people a long time ago? I believe they do. Why is the government being so slow in doing this? Maybe because they say, oh, the court that is responsible for taking care of the cases, they have a lot of cases on their docket. Even the report, the MCC report, talk about, you know, I don't know the NCC report talk about how most of the cases are moving on a slow pace. Like, you know, when there are cases to prosecute people for something wrong they've done, it takes time that are so unusual. Let us be for once serious about getting people to book, prosecuting people for stealing state money. We should go after them. There's no time to be wasting, and there shouldn't be lip service anymore. Bouaka should now take the bull by the horn and go after corrupt officials like yesterday.
Absolutely. I totally agree. That was my position. I've had that position. I think sometimes
Anthony, Anthony at the backstage. I know you're at the backstage.
Well, Anthony is not on camera, so I'm not gonna battle Anthony.
Anyway,
why you can't battle me? I'm on camera. I'm on the road. You want me to be on the road? On camera?
My man, Anthony, bro, my man. Number one, I didn't even know that you're on the road. You didn't tell me that you're on the road.
Let him
go.
Let him go. Let me get be on camera.
Who tell Anthony out? But look, so look, I truly believe, right? The buck start with the president. The president wants you. Remember when Madame Salif Morris, that's what I'm saying. That old man was so damn corrupt. She only dealt with stuff like she moved swiftly on people that she had political feud with.
She was not. Right? She was not corrupt. She embraced corruption. She herself was. She was not corrupt.
No, because if you entertain anything,
she embraced. She was sleeping with corruption, but she herself was not corrupt.
Well, bro, let me tell you. Once you
I
get
just messing. Go ahead, my man.
come on, man, don't do that. Because there's the thing. Number one, we all know when she became president, who first she went after? Well,
Judith Bryant.
And that whole interim administration, right?
Yeah.
She dragged up people. So the will was there because she saw this guy as a political, adversaries, and she went after the guy.
No, I think she was trying to gain. I think she was trying to get international sympathy, man. That's
right.
all.
And you could be right too. Maybe go tough at the beginning, let people know that she's gonna do well. Then capitulate at the very end because her children were being involved in it too. But Murray, just have a little bit of time on that, and then we'll transition to our last topic again, man, from our end.
Madam Sirleaf, I would consider Madam Sirleaf the Mugabe of Zimbabwe.
Say the Mugabe of Liberia.
The Mugabe of Liberia, rather. Yeah, the Mugabe of Liberia. When Robert Mugabe launched a revolution, in Zimbabwe, when he took over Zimbabwe, he did so very well. Brought teachers from across different eras. He did so very well at the beginning, Mugabe. But at the end of the day, he's spoiling. He's spoiling until he just make it. He was just there now. He not even know what was happening. The same thing that happened on the football field. If you Arsene Wenger with Arsenal, when people didn't know about Arsenal much, when Arsene Wenger took over Arsenal in 1996, he put Arsenal on the map, on the spotlight, bringing players, professional players, high-class players. When the people got to know about Arsenal, what he decided to do, he started buying players for 200,000, 300,000, 400. What other team buying players 5 million? He buying players 100,000, 50,000. So that's Madam Sirleaf right there. When Madam Sirleaf took over, he actually stand like, look, the people was afraid. People were concerned. The Iron Lady. Everybody concerned, the Iron Lady. People were in their share. She stood her ground. But I think she was on mission. By the time Madam Sirleaf got what she wanted, she didn't even care about her own party, not to talk about the country. She just messed everything up. So that's what I say. I would consider Madam Sirleaf as the Robert Mugabe of Liberia. She cared less because she didn't care. She just wanted what she wanted. By the time she got it, she cared less about what happened in the country, whether the country go nowhere. She cared less. So that whole thing that was just Sholay, the Indian movie they call Sholay, that whole thing, because Judith Bryant was no threat to his government. Because Judith Bryant, our interim government, they gone already. So she was just doing that thing to get the international support to say, yeah, the Iron Lady, the madam. That whole thing that was just Sholay, man. But I just hope this President Bouaga should wake up, man. Wow, I think Ume really need to wake up. I think this is something that we all need to make it as a campaign. All the people that support this government, they need to make it as if we can even pull on our page, fight corruption, prosecute. I think we need to really push hard. We need to push hard.
Yeah, because I understand Liberia is a country where we are so close-knit, right? It almost feel like, there are a lot of intimacy going on, like everybody know everybody in the country. And it makes it so hard for people to fight. You see people member of a certain church, like people are drawn to certain fraternity and all that stuff. So a lot of this thing going on. So a lot of communication can happen overnight. All that. But when you campaign about something, that thing have to be like something that you really really press on. But let's transition here.
So let me add up to that, right?
All right, 30 seconds.
Yeah, even in Ghana, right? The John Dramani Mahama has consistently called for a specialized court to fight corruption, right? He asked for that on numerous occasions. Bouaga should be echoing that. Ghana, no, these high-profile cases are always a case that delay when it goes to the regular courts. This is the reason why Bouaga should institute a specialized fast-track court to deal with the high-profile cases. In Ghana, they set up a special court to fight illegal mining. You see how they are running on that quick. And they grab you doing illegal mining, they send you to the court, they prosecute you, and it goes too quick. They set up a fast track court, a specialized court for cyber crimes. So we can do the same. Especially when it comes to corruption in Liberia. Boycott needs to take the bull by the horn. He can institute, he can start continue to echo and re-echo the dire need to create a specialized or a fast track court to try all corruption cases.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that added contribution. So, well, like I said, for me, I like to hit and then get to a soft spot. So while we have obviously large government on series of issues here, but I also get to a point where government has been appreciated for for their actions, right? So this coming from Senator Wellington G. Smith of Riverside County. He came out with this statement today that for the first time since the end of the Civil War in Liberia, we the people of Riverside County were able to travel throughout the county during the rainy season without getting stuck in the mud. Now that is absolutely a plus there, right? That our senator is actually coming out with this kind of sobering of praises, ringing of praises on the government. That's something you don't really get enough of. I think the first person to have done that with regards to rules was Senator how do you call this guy from Grand Jita, man?
That's Zoe Manuel Peno.
Zoe Manuel Peno. He said that almost a year ago that the rules were even our at the time, Sandy Jalayu. He said the same thing. But people are playing politics with it. Now we got, the senator coming out that for the first time since the war. So which war we're talking about? 1997 when Chancellor became president, or 2003 when Ellen became president. But either way, it's been 20 years since Ellen rose to the on the political scene. But now people are saying that for the first time, they are traveling back and forth, and not just traveling to their county, but traveling through the land and birth of their county without fear of getting stuck. What's that say about the government in terms of rules, Mr. Tule?
We must admit that there have been significant strides made by this administration when it comes to the issue of roads, right? As part of the IREST agenda, roads is one of the significant portion or part of this IREST agenda, and the president has really done well so far regarding the deployability of roads network across the country, especially going to the southeast. As we all may know, that during the rainy season, vast majority of the country have been cut off from economic activities, right? Once it's rainy season, people in the southeast barely get from the farm to the market. Their goods, the farm produce, oftentimes get damaged as once they're transporting their produce to the market and it gets stuck on the road for like a week or something. If you are trying with perishable goods like tomatoes or pepper and whatever, you expect these things to damage further, thus causing economic activity to slow down. So what this government has done was to make these roads pliable, and what that does is sort of revamp economic activities. Transportation fare sort of reduced, because you see that a lot of vehicles now are applying these routes that were not pliable in the past. So to be true, this government has done they have made some significant strides when it comes to road connectivity and the pliability of these roads. So let's give kudos to the Brock administration. I know they are working on trying to pour asphalt pavement, and according to the public works minister, Lafayette Giddens. He told us that there will be an octopus effect when it comes to the issue of roads. You know, they're going to tackle roads from all different aspects at the same time. So we expect our country to open, because there's this famous saying: the development of the development of road begins with wow. There's a famous saying, it just went off my head, you know. But you are muted, you know.
The development of roads, I mean, the development of any country, whether economic or social development, begins with roads.
Yeah, development begins with development of roads, something like that. But in that light, I would like to end with this, right? Look, in order for the country to decentralize activities, economic activity to decentralize, or anything that you want on urban to rural migration, once there are roads connectivity within the country, right? People would tend now to start to decongest the capital. People would tend now to leave Monrovia and go outside of Monrovia to, you know, sort of find a safe haven to stay. And not only is this government just connecting the country to roads, right? They are also going along. They are also adding electricity to that. So once you have road and electricity in areas, it makes that place habitable, right? It makes that place, you know, sort of livable, where people can be able to live and survive. Electricity and road goes hand in hand.
Right.
So I think that this government is making good strides, and we must commend them. There are more to be done. We expect more from them. Yes, we do. But for now, let's give them their flowers. They are doing tremendously well, you know, compared to the past administration. This government has immensely done.
Morris, my man, the roads, man, the senator is talking about since the war, man. They traveling on throughout their county. That's River says, and they are moving there with confidence, without fear of getting stuck in the mud. And that's not just to get there, but even traveling throughout the country. What do you make of that?
I think it's not really of a big surprise. I know, because the issue of road has been the number one agenda for now President Boakai. 2017, his agenda was number 1 road, number 2 road, number 3 road. You know, I think even number 4 road. 2017, you know, he did not win that election. When President Weah won the election, he took that as his number 1 priority. In fact, as a matter of fact, he called himself Barrow Medicine. I don't know whether that he didn't want to call himself Barrow Medicine, whether the people call him Barrow Medicine, but however, he accepted the title of being the Barrow Medicine. You know, because I think he realized that the issue of road is so very important. Even though he reneged on it, he could not, you know, take it anywhere. So President Boakai had the opportunity to come back to power, so he make it as one of his priority, you know, road. I think he even make a campaign promise that no car will stop, you know, in the 100 days. So I mean, it's a good thing. And to be honest, the people, like I always say, Liberians are appreciative. If you think they know, they are. That's why today, regardless of everything, as much as they are frustrated in other areas, but yes, still they do appreciate the government, especially the people in the rural area, because they know that some are just stuck in Monrovia. We're not going anywhere. The people that are, you know, going from county to county, traveling to, you know, from place to place. So I think they really, everybody go. They really appreciate it. I think they appreciate it. Yeah, it's not just the senator. Under this regime, the act of citizen journalism has intensified. You know, everybody's standing with their lay phone, you know, praising what happened on the road, this and that. So I think they just need to do more. You know, but I think they're really doing well in terms of road. They're doing well. The fact that they can even think about bringing hundreds of, you know, yellow machine, you know, to distribute it among counties, you know, to be assigned to all the major roads. You know, I mean, they're talking about next month, December, road octopus. So I think they're doing well. So we are not surprised. I know the little appreciation are coming from the citizens, especially, people with louder voice. I mean, we are not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so look, we can say we're not surprised about the government ability to obviously do the obvious. But maybe our surprise or maybe some of our frustration lies in the
I mean, I'm gonna teach you also.
Kind of lies in the the way in which the government is actually
what happened? Asking what kind of
proceeding with it.
Give me drinking a tea in the show, man.
Man, guys, yo, what are you guys doing? So look, the way the government is proceeding.
Go ahead, Ray. We got a guy you load this started, right?
The total steps to use bro Momo phrase here. That whole process, I think that's why getting a lot of people frustrated. It's not that the government don't have the ability. The government being in power before. A lot of these guys that are in government, I think that's where my frustration lies, right? If you look at it, 70% of guys that are working in government and girls that are working in government, this is not their first radio. Like, they've been there before. With Joey, I mean, that's why some of us we did not support. We did not support him, but we did not criticize Joey in year 1, year 2, right? Because we knew he got out leading is something he had experienced. That's number one, and politics was not part of his arsenal to begin with. And the people that he brought along the way, a lot of them too, and the position he put them in, they have not traveled on his roads before. So we understood that they were going to struggle from the beginning. But we are not making that kind of, reservation for this administration, though. Momo, I don't think any one of us can say we can give them that benefit of the doubt. No, they've been there before. And if you know better, you should do better. Right, Momo?
Of course. I mean, that's why you see lately, you don't see Seditian posting pictures about barrels in the country. That's not their politics no more.
Right.
That has been, they don't have any fight when it comes to that. Because they themselves are seeing their own people are telling them, no, there's no way you can criticize this government when it comes to issue of bad roads. If we all remember, during the Weah administration, almost half of his cabinet were from the southeast. Can you imagine that? Majority from the southeast, and the road to the southeast was not pliable. So that speaks to the kind of leadership that we have in currently. This is a serious government, right? Look, the bar has been risen. This government has brought our country back on the map, right? We are now beginning to see our nation once more being respected.
Right.
Institutions are being rebuilt, and then we are seeing governance. No, there are some lapses in all other areas, but for the most part, things are now being put in place to where it's supposed to be. So, look, we will still beat on this administration to do even more, because for which much is given, much is expected. So this administration, in as much as they are doing more and they are doing well, we want them to continue to do more in every sector of our governance system.
Absolutely.
from education to healthcare to whatever. Look, we want next year the issue of jobs should not be a thing that we should talk about now, because you have to provide jobs for our young folks, get them to work. We have a youthful population that can drive this economy to be one of the best within our sub-region. But all you have to do is to be able to get availability of job is key for this administration. This will help drive the economy. This will help to get us to where we need to get as a nation. So as we are expanding electricity access around the country and road connectivity, we expect the government now to begin to set up a system where a system of decentralization where other companies can come to the country, foreign direct investment, come to the country, set up, ice factories, set up, value addition. Our raw material should not be something that we should expect them to be exporting out of our country, but we should rather demand that a long-standing company, the Firestone, to build factory in Firestone that to get the value addition to our rubber. We can do rubber anything, a rubber product. There should be a finished product from rubber in our country. It should not be exported. They can manufacture tire in Liberia. So now that the government is setting setting all the basis for, when it comes to electricity, water, and roads, once all of these things are laid out, are being put in place, then we begin to ask the question as citizens: we have this here, we have electricity, we have water, we have roads. Why aren't we having companies coming to? Why is Firestone still exporting our raw material? Why is Metal Steel exporting all our raw material? They can produce steel in our country. They can produce other things that they take our resources out of the country for to go and produce the finished product. They can now produce them. They can create their factory in our country and produce it in Liberia rather than ship our resource, our raw material outside.
All right, let me hold you there, Maurice. I think from this point, I'm getting straight to our closing. It's almost
yeah.
Going to 1 o'clock. But just talk on that. Or you just want to go to our closing, right?
Yeah. I will just go to closing.
Yeah, let you go to closing, man. It's almost 1 o'clock. But yeah, go ahead, Maurice.
Look, we'll come here every day to talk, to see what we see it fit. But look, no government that will come to power and just do everything and cash and do everything at once. It's not possible. But a government should be very measured. A responsible government should be measured. That at least do 1 or 2 things that when you leave office, let us say, when this government came to power, when this president came to power, this is what he or she was really successful in. And maybe, I don't know, probably this government looking at roads. Maybe they're looking at roads and electricity. They say, you know what, this will be President Boubacar's legacy. We'll electrify probably 60 or 75% of the country, and we'll connect the road, maybe 60, 75 to 80% of the road. And maybe the other areas we can chip in, but these areas will be our focus point. Maybe, I don't know. Every government have their own agenda, and that's why I got frustrated on Madam Salif, because Madam Salif left power 12 years. He left power. I don't see where you can point at. You say small light tomorrow, today big light tomorrow. At the end of the day, nothing. The road, nothing. Corruption, nothing. Reconciliation, nothing. So what can you point at? And, maybe the government, President Boubacar looking at, the other area is really hard to fight. I will try, but this other area, trust me, I think I will focus. I will pay more attention. And just to close up, right? Look, when you open the country, that by itself is a form of employment. I'm not saying that don't go out there and lobby for companies and stuff like that. But if you open the roads, people will move freely. They will do their businesses. Somebody can leave from Remorove and go to work Habe and come back and sleep and go to work Habe. Somebody can be Remorove, drive Friday after work Friday night and go to Ganta and spend the whole weekend and come right back and grant you there. You open the country. People can move freely. So if that is the focus point for President Boubacar, I hope he do it successfully. And, but you can't come to power 5 years, 6 years and just turn your back and lead the country. Nothing people can point out. But it was a good show. We'll come here every time we got a chance to come here. Thank you, guys.
Okay. So that was your point, Maurice. Government should find a focus point. That has been part of my argument too, because you might not be able to solve all of Liberia problem in a single term. But if we just take 3 focus points and just deliver on those 3, maybe who knows? The next person will come after you. That person can find something to identify certain key areas and improve on those areas sufficiently. Then in 12 years, you got 6 agencies that are firing on every cylinder. I think that's the way to go about it. But everybody got their leadership style, why not? But moving on, man, what's your closing, my brother?
So I would close by saying this, as is often said, the road to development starts with the development of roads. That's the key phrase I was missing here.
Hello.
So this government has made significant strides when it comes to roads, right? Look, the mere fact that under 2 years, the country has been connected through, with the government efforts in opening all the roads, the entire nation is pliable. The pliability of these roads, it doesn't have to be necessarily, yeah, I mean, we all can be frustrated now in this day and age, in the 21st century. We are healing dirt roads, but little is better than nothing, right? These are stuff we never had. The pliability. The Southeast used to be cut off from all economic activity under the previous administration, and those people are also Liberians too. They were not part of, they were cut off from the rest of the country during certain part of the year. That was not fair to them. They are all Liberians. They deserve to be a part of every, every sort of economic activity that is whatsoever that the country enjoys. So the fact that roads are open and people from the Southeast a farmer from the Southeast can plant his pepper or tomato or whatever and be able to transport it from the farm to the market and sell them and return back to the Southeast the same day says a lot, that we are back again. Economic activity now is something that we are seeing. We're seeing that, and it also, that alone, put money into the pocket of that person. The bread and butter issue, right? Would it be able to use that same amount of money to send their kids to school? The one who's riding his keke, who used to just make one trip to the Southeast or some part of the country, can make 2 or 3 trips per day, thereby producing more revenue for his or her business. That's another part of economic activity, because once they get that money, proceeds from their business, they are able to put that money back into the economy, where they had to go pay rent to their landlord, they had to pay school fees to pay the children's school fees and stuff. So development starts with the development of roads, and this is why this administration has so much focus on, and I totally applaud them for it. And again, the electricity expansion. Look at in the Southeast, Sastan, Grand Cook County, we're talking about Riverside County. For the first time in the history of these people's life, since 178 years of existence of our republic, those people have not seen light. This is a significant milestone in the governing effort of this Unity Party administration. So let us be very optimistic about the future of our nation as the leaders strive to make the lives of our people better. And we all, as Liberians in the diaspora, should always beat on this government to give our people a befitting life. You know what I mean? A life much fulfilling, a life where every child, every young boy or young girl, everyone in every zip code or every community in Liberia can have the ability to live up to their God-given potential. This is the kind of life that we need for our people. And this starts with the leadership that we have. And thank God we have a president. And the last thing I would say, job creation is something that we should be focusing on starting next year, because I know the yellow machines are coming. That alone is, we shouldn't depend on the government. Should not be the highest employer in the country. The government should provide a vibrant private sector that will drive the issue of job and create more jobs for our people. And I know this administration, is well aware of that. So once the next year we have electricity expansion and roads everywhere, we believe that companies will come, to invest. Security is also something that we should focus on. I know, the security of the state is somewhat, normal. Everything is going on well. We're not seeing people falling dead like zombies in the street. So that will also drive investors to come to the country. Once we get a lot of foreign direct investors come to the country, and we Liberian in the diaspora should also take business back home, where we can hire 2, 3, 4, 5 people. That's also job creation. It should not only be about government. We ourselves that are on this platform and are here, we should be able to go out back home and create jobs for our people, right? So the issue of job is an all hands on deck approach, but it is fully and squarely incumbent on the government to provide a vibrant private sector that will create jobs for our people.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tule. Maurice talked about government allocating 3 or 4, priorities areas and infusing enough time and effort in those areas, making them work efficiently. We'll talk about, giving, bringing dignity to the people, by obviously, taking care of what you need to take care of. That development start with roles, and roles opens other opportunities. So, Amy, what do you say in your closing, man? Go closing on, about to leave. We're playing the weekend starting soon.
I know. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. All of you say that's what I want to do with my closing today. So everybody, thank you. Continue to share the show, and let's start to Ray. Thank you for holding it down today. The Butter boy, you did a phenomenal job, and maybe tomorrow, who knows? Momo might want to host. Everyone spread the wealth. But anyways, yeah, it was a great show, even though I was just listening in. But sometimes it's good to
sometimes it's good to give other people opportunity, you know what I mean? It's good to nurture other people along the way. So I appreciate the opportunity allowing me to host tonight. Obviously the people in the comment section will judge how much I did tonight, but hey, you know what? It is hard to fill Amy's seat. You know what I mean? But I can only say I did my best. And my mom would tell me, Vatoma, go do your best. Whatever your best is, I will accept it. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great show, guys. Good job. Let's continue the good. What tomorrow is what? Social Saturday or what?
Tomorrow is Social Saturday. Let me just lay the groundwork here for our viewers. Tomorrow we'll be talking everything, finance, social responsibilities. I mean, sex, sexual relationship. Anywhere we go. We're talking everything tomorrow. So when small children around you, you can't answer anything. But tomorrow we're going unscripted.
I don't think we're doing some radar.
We're not going all out.
It's gonna be void of politics. That's all it's gonna be. But
I mean, it's obviously gonna be. No, we're gonna take it. I like we're gonna take it lepe. Do it lepe as the night. No. Because starting, what will start 9 o'clock and start as we get into 11 hours, then the topic start. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're gonna be very, very appropriate when it comes to children and all that stuff. But after we reach the 11 o'clock now, I mean, it's all better off, man. Because that's the thing. Some conversations, sometimes we need to have these conversations. It saves lives. It saves relationships, right? Like a lot of times.
We are not relationship experts. We're talking about social issues that have to do with our country. The people kind of like cleaning after themselves, cleaning,
No, Amy, don't get it wrong. No, you're getting it wrong. What to read on point?
Amy, we're talking about everything.
But we're not relationship expert and advisor.
It's not about Amy. We read books though. I can take the books that I'm reading right now.
But we're not political. We're not political expert. We can discuss politics, right?
We all know.
Every human being is by default a politician. That's a theory, man.
That's a theory that everybody can go get a voting card and vote.
That's a theory. If we can institute government, if we are the government,
you going to elect the people to put them there.
Then we talking about? It's not mutually exclusive. It go hand in hand.
Look, what we're saying, we can discuss family issue. There are some things that need to be discussed because it's killing people. People are depressed. There are a lot of homes that are broken. Those things need to be discussed. So I don't see what the issue there.
No, nobody's stopping that. I mean, Amy is just saying that, you know, we're going to talk about hygiene, we'll talk about environmental issues, you know, for the politics, you know, and then we take it from the home, from everyday family issue, from the kitchen table to the streets.
To the bedroom. Even the bedroom, we can discuss it too.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
From the kitchen table to the streets, how are Liberians, you know.
Nobody bedroom.
So let me say this, Momo, right? At the end of the day, we are all professional here. We know to what extent that we can
exactly
conversation. I'm not gonna come here and make myself be viewed as a bona fide, you know, or relationship or professional. I'm not doing that. If you really, I'm just gonna give you the surface of it, right? If you need in-depth advice, go seek a relationship. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make that clear. I'm not gonna say I made myself someone who got
disclaimer. We just talking about it to hear outside in our perspective.
Because if you follow my point, no, Amy, if you follow my point, you go apply your relationship, then you go press that client. What? What's that?
That's to reborn kind of people now, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, well, it definitely do look like it. I mean, the music set definitely can tell you exactly where that sound coming from. You know, and that's what makes so unique, right? Every county, man, you know, the way you hear sound, you know it from Nimba. You hear another sound, you know it from Lofa. You know, and even within Lofa, there is this diversity within Lofa too. You know, the Kisipo got their own sound. You know, the Lomapo got their own sound. You know, the Mangopo got their own. I mean, everybody got their own little thing going on down there too.
The Bandi,
how many tribes in Lofa?
I think about I think I have 4 or 5 major.
Okay, yeah. So it's such a unique thing.
Bandi, Mandingo, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a unique thing.
So yeah, man, guys, thanks for the show tonight, man. Tomorrow we'll talk all things social Liberia, from the kitchen table to what affect everyday Liberia, foreign politics.
Exactly.
You know, we'll go outside, talk about the environment, how the community leaders can talk to our young kids, you know, how to be respectful in the neighborhood, because it starts from there, you know. Respect in our community. These days, Liberia, we don't respect one another. You know, you see a kid that before, when we were growing up, we used to be so highly respectful of older people. So even staying in front of an older person to even speak to talk is, we got to bury our head to even do that. You know what I mean? That's what we call, you know, discipline to that. But you know, the war has sort of put a knife and killed everything, you know, that we were so much accustomed to. You know, that kind of decency, the love for one another, love for your neighbor. You know, making sure you look watch over your shoulder when you have more to eat and your neighbor does not have it, you share with your neighbor. All of these things have sort of lost in our society today. So we have to bring that back. You know, we have to bring what we call decency, love for one another. You know, when your neighbor is not doing well, you reach out. You look over. You haven't seen your neighbor for 2-3 days. You go to his house, check him. Are you okay?
That kind of big brother, big sister kind of thing, you know what I'm saying?
We need to bring that back. And then in the community, we need to talk about how young kids or kids in the neighborhood should focus on learning. Let's create a learning. If it's not all about money making, you know, our community leaders should open like a community forum when it comes to, you know, how is it that they can help kids, you know, study class stuff in the community, right? Free study class, free tutoring for kids who may want to come and learn. For kids who parents don't have the means of sending them to school, we can open, a community can open free tutoring for young kids. All of these things are important.
We will definitely engage it tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We'll reconvene tomorrow or or should I say what Vandana Patrick said?
Regroup.
Regroup.
Yeah.
We're going to regroup.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Wait, you ending it?
Yeah, I didn't know you. But I was waiting for you doing it. How you do it?
No, you. I think that you got it.
I'll end it. All right,
Good
guys.
night, y'all.